They're two brothers and gamers that have been playing games since the early 1980s. Combined, they have over 65 years experience. Join them each week as they discuss and rant about gaming and entertainment news. This is Generation X Gaming.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another week, another episode of Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. I'm your host, 30 and Still Gaming, and joining me each and every single week is Sgt McClusky. What's going on, bro?
I don't know what I should say. If the sound's still working and the camera's still working, it's a good shift already.
Why wouldn't it work?
I don't know. I crashed my machine 2 days after I got it, man.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. We do have storms over here right now. We have it's raining. It's raining cats and dogs over here.
Where's it raining? Where you are?
Where I am. And so we had this massive flood come through, or 2 hours ago. I thought we were gonna lose power and stuff. So, but we're all good on my side, so we should be good on your side. What's going on, chat? Generation X Gaming weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories of the past week, and we rant along the way. Live Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on 30 NSG. If you'd like to support us in any way, shape, or form, you can hit that like button. If you don't like us, well, you can hit that unlike button or dislike button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, you can hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to go above and beyond that, you can hit the membership as little as $5. We do appreciate you for showing up. We do have a Q&A at the end of the show. If you have a question for us for any of the topics that were on the show, there's a little button or a little tab inside the chat. You can click on there, submit your questions, and then we'll answer those later in the show. On today's show, Sarge, we're going to be talking about Summer Game Fest. We're going to be talking about the reviews coming out for the new Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. We're going to talk about Capcom. We're going to talk about EA. We're going to be talking about Starfield.
Thanks for becoming a member.
We're going to be talking about new updates for Microsoft. We're going to be talking about Plague Tale Requiem. We're going to talk about what we got here. We're going to talk about PlayStation Plus Collection. We're going to talk about AI, Sarge. We're going to talk about AIs in video game, just building video games now with AI. We're going to talk about the numbers. I built a new segment. It's called The Numbers. It's just going to talk about articles with numbers in it, right? So if a game sold this many, or the percentages are down, or whatever it is. So we got a couple of stories with numbers in it. We're going to be talking about Redfall, because it has found a player base, Sarge. I talked about this a couple days ago on my morning stream.
Of course it did.
Yeah, it found a player base, so we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about rumors. We got rumors going on, and we're going to talk about Fortnite as well. Fortnite is now an Olympic sport, so we'll talk about that later on in the show. What have you been up to, Sarge? What have you been up to? Not what you've been playing. What have you been up to?
I think that Redfall found its audience. I think of it immediately as the goth kids from South Park that don't care about anything. They're like, oh, this game sucks. It's got vampires in it, but it's cool. Yeah, vampires are cool. That's the clique that's playing Redfall right now, is the goth kids from South Park. That's the audience.
Right, they don't care. They're just like, yeah.
Yeah, I guess they don't care. It's something to play. Oh, it's got vampires. It's awesome.
I guess I'll play it. I mean, it's cool.
It's great.
I see people on Twitter just really going out of their way. They're like, I'm having fun. I like it. It's a good game. I'm like,
great.
Is it though?
Great.
Is it?
Listen, man. Whatever you want. Whatever you want. I guess the only way to combat that in a conversation is to take notes of the people who keep saying, I don't care, it's fun, until they say something's bad. Yeah. And then we compare what they think bad is, right? You need a frame of reference, right? Like my frame of reference is 40 fucking years. So,
right.
Sorry, right? So some of you only have 15 in your pocket or 10 in your pocket. Everything looks good to you. Yeah. Great. See you soon. Yeah, that's all.
I turned 45 tomorrow, so I'll have 42 years playing video games. I started when I was 3, playing the bowling game on the Atari 2600.
That wasn't your first game, though.
That was my first game.
No, you don't remember your first game. I remember your first game.
What was my first game? The first game that I remember was the bowling game sitting in Dad's lap.
That's fine. That's your memory.
What was your
first game to play? Okay, so
the past is a lie. The past is a lie. Sorry, chat.
The past is not what you remember. Your first thing
what's my first game?
Is something that your memory does.
Pong?
But like I was there. Okay, so we had a big metal box.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, it had 4 knobs on it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, it had 4 games on it. 1, 2, 3, 4. There was a Switch.
It had a racing game.
3 of them were Pong or Pong-like. So one was Pong, one was tennis,
See, I thought
and
that was
one
after.
was hockey.
I thought that was after.
One was hockey. Nope. Right, and then the 4th one was the IndyCar game. Right.
You know what? I do remember the IndyCar game.
Right. The IndyCar game is just you remember the dot matrix IndyCar, right? It's like 6 squares. It looks like, but it actually looks like an IndyCar, right?
Yeah.
So it's 4-player. Right.
Do you remember the name?
Oh God, I don't remember the name.
I'd have
to think about it.
What's the system?
It's not the Odyssey. It was something off. It was a third-party system back in those days. You'd have to look it up. All third parties from 1977, 78. So anyway, the IndyCar game was a game where you started and all 4 cars would start moving, and as long as you didn't hit anything, the car kept getting faster, and the controller was just a knob. So you just sat near the box and you move the knob and you go around the track. Right, that was your first game.
Yeah, see, I remember the bowling game. I do remember those games, but I thought that was after. I'm looking up old systems right now, Sarge. I cannot find the big box with 4 knobs.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It was made out of metal.
Yeah, I know.
The box was made out of heavy gauge metal tin and a metal plate. It was made out of.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Yeah. I'll find it eventually. That was your first game.
I remember we had
and yes, goth kids still exist. They're just in a very small number, probably about as big as the number of the people who are doing achievements in Xbox.
we'll talk about that as well.
No, not the Intellivision. Trust me, I know most of the systems. I was 4 or 5 when it came out.
It was a really shitty looking box. I can't think of. I'm trying to look it up.
It looked like a trapezoid. It was square on one side and it leaned down like this. It was a wedge. Is really what it was. It was just a wedge with the 4 knobs and the 3 buttons on it.
It was way back when where co-op existed.
You'd have to look up between 75 and 78. Probably was when it came out.
All right, let's see. 75.
Then we got the Atari.
The 1978 video game systems. Let me see here. Okay, I see.
Share your screen. Share your screen. I'll be able to pick it out right away.
Yeah, I'll put it up. That's the wrong one.
I'll be able to tell right away.
It's not telegames, is it? It's not the telegames. That's 2 knobs. That's not 4 knobs.
It's got 4 knobs, 1 in each corner.
Yeah, I don't.
This might be half the show to try to find this.
Yeah,
thing.
that's fine. You know, it is what it is. We got priorities here. We got priorities.
Oh, you're going through that kind of list. I see what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm just looking up games or systems here. Here, like 19. We'll go year by year. 75 video game. I shouldn't say video game systems. I should say consoles.
I don't know what it's going to come up as though. It didn't have a cartridge slot or nothing. It just had the 4 games in the box and that's it.
See, you might be thinking it's the telegames because it says Pong on there.
No, I get it. I'm telling you, it was like a third-party system. It wasn't like a mainstream game. It was like, do you know how many third-party systems came out all around the same time, Mike? All that crap that came out at the same time.
I remember. I just can't.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. We've got a list here. What is this? Can I see this list?
Oh, that might be better.
Oh, that's blurry as crap. That's blurry as crap.
Can you blow that up? Blow that up.
No, I can't blow it up. That's the problem.
Ooh.
Open a new tab.
It's like watching my own birth. It's like the birth of video games.
What is this? This is not what we looked like here. Okay, wait, we're getting closer here.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good mix there. Hang on.
Wait, let me see.
I'm telling you, it
looks like it could look like this right here, Sarge. It could be this one right here. Is it this one? With the brown.
Nope. No, it was a big metal thing. It was a big metal Wedge.
We'll have our
Like
research team look for it.
Like the second one over with the two knobs.
Yeah, that's the telecast system. That was telegames.
I'm trying to give you the example. You see the metal where the knobs are?
Yeah, but there's two more up on top.
If the whole thing was that metal.
Yeah, no, I got it.
The whole, I
can't find it.
It wasn't a mainstream one. It was like every guy off the back of a truck had a video game system. They were selling it back in the late 70s. Mom and dad probably picked one up off the back of the truck because it looked cool, and that's what it was. I don't remember the name.
Probably sold it at Sears.
It's a big hunk of metal.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Let's
the one you know is Atari. You know Atari.
Yeah. Well, we had a lot of different Ataris. We had the Atari with the keypad. We had the Atari with the you plug it. It had the numbers on it. You don't remember that one?
The one that had the numbers on it's in television.
No, it was an Atari system.
When you slide the cards in, that's ColecoVision. The other one had numbers on it was ColecoVision. ColecoVision was the first system that had the games from the arcade at home, which made it cool. Like you had the actual arcade games in your house. That's why that was such a good system.
Can I open this one?
You had like Galaga and Galaxian and Pac-Man.
It was the Intellivision. It was the Intellivision.
Yeah.
I think I found it, Sarge. I think I found it. But this is 81.
Yeah. Let me see.
Is this it?
Let me see.
Is it the
Let's see.
Casio Vision?
Let's see.
No.
Let's see. Oh, it's kind of close, but no.
No, not that one.
No, it's close. Those little tabletop ones that look like the arcade machines, those were fun too.
Man, those systems were horrendous, huh? Those things are ugly looking.
Listen, dude, bro, we have come a long way, right? We have come a long way. The amount of stuff that's come out since then, it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Commodore 64. Mail order was it called Mail Order Monsters? I think one of the games on the Commodore 64. It was like a 1v1. You would buy you would level up your character and buy different weapons and stuff to put on your dinosaur, and then you'd fight each other, and then the winner would get more points to put more stuff on their dinosaur.
Yeah.
Ah.
We actually played. We were playing games before. We had the Atari, and then we had the Apple IIc. We had the Apple IIc, and we used to play a crap ton of games on the Apple IIc.
The Olympic Games you played a lot of.
Yeah.
Summer Games 1 and 2, Winter Games 1 and 2, the California Games.
That's good stuff.
Then there was Spy versus Spy.
And it was so big and massive because the bottom of the Apple IIc, here I'll bring a picture up of it.
It was the keyboard and the thing was the one piece.
It was gigantic, and we had to put it on the floor. And we'd lay on the ground and play it in our bedroom. Yeah.
Wings of Fury, the one where you were the World War II fighter used to take off the carrier. I thought that was like one of the most amazing games, especially for Wings of Fury.
All right. Let's
what have we been playing?
Let's get to what we've been playing. Hold on. All right, so what have you been playing in the last week? I know you've been playing a lot of...
I played a lot. I played a lot this week. Okay, so starting with my PC, I played the testing version of Dune: Spice Wars. They have a long way to go, but it is fun. It's you
got the Spice Wars.
Yeah, the way I look at it, it looks like the more updated version of the original game, just with a lot more 4D chess going on, because you have to do the politics and the economy and the bribing and it's everything. The combat's a little weak. They're working on the combat. It's a little bit like Paper Rock Scissor, but there's a lot more diplomacy and treachery. So like the guy might have a better army than you, but if you bribe them, then the guys don't fight. Like it's this whole thing. It's a 4D game, right? It's decent. It's decent.
This footage that we're watching right here is not from Sarge. This is from Jumbo Pixel. Pixel.
There's a lot going on. You have to be patient and want to play a game like this. It's not like playing like a normal RTS. It's not at all. The one I've been playing a lot of is Warhammer Total War 3. And I'll be very brief because I could talk about it for hours. They did an amazing job. The the devs who worked on this game, and if you look at the game and you just do some YouTube videos and you search about it,
This is Total War that you're talking about now, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about Total War. Yeah. If you look at the game, you'll notice that there's like 25 races. Okay, and each race plays the game different. That means a developer had to take the time to do the history of Warhammer and figure out how to make each of those races work in the game, even though they're different, and not be OP. Now, they didn't do a 100% good job. There are still OP races in there if you figure out what to do. Okay. However, the fact that you have 23 races and each of them has its own campaign that you can play through.
That's cool.
Okay. This is madness.
How long is the campaign for each of the factions?
Which you have to win.
No, I understand that.
You can win it in 2-3 hours. You can might take you a couple days. It depends on how badly the AI beats up on you, right? They did a fantastic job. Like, they don't talk about games like this like they talk about games like on console. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
These games, either they do well, they don't do well, but they're over on the side somewhere. All the focus is on everyone hates Xbox and PlayStation. We go back and forth. But this game is incredible. Now, here's the microtransaction route that they took, Mike. Check this out.
Okay.
Right?
Wait, Sarge's okay with this microtransaction. All right.
No, I am not okay. I'm not okay with it, but here's how it goes. This is the third game, right?
Okay.
This is the third game. In my list of 23 races, I have 7. The rest are locked. The rest are locked.
So they're safe.
Right?
They're putting them behind.
The rest are locked. If I click on one that's locked in Total War 3, this is what it says. It says you have to have Total War, the first one, in order to play this race. So not that I have to buy that race.
You have to buy that game.
I'm gonna buy the first game.
So technically, the game is like a DLC then.
That's kind of like how they market it, right? Okay. Now, they don't have, and by the way, they don't. It does. I've been watching for years. It doesn't go on sale.
No,
the game doesn't go on sale, and they don't sell the races separate. Like, you can't pay like $8.95 buy a race. So, and then some of the other races that were new are in the second game. So now you have to buy.
So you have to buy all
2.
So okay, so I have a question though.
Right.
When you're playing Total War, Total 3, right?
Yep.
And you're playing the other race. Is it playing in 3, or are you just playing 1 or 2? Like, are you playing that race in 1 and 2, or are you playing that race in 3?
So each game has its own campaign and story. Right. It's like a trilogy of movies.
Okay.
So if I buy the first Total War game, the campaign in that game for each of the races is different than the campaign I'm playing now.
Interesting.
In Total War 3. So picture 3 different movies. You're watching 3 different movies. You can be in 3 different movies, but if I've only watched the third movie, I can't be the characters in that movie unless I have watched or played the first movie or second movie. You get what I'm saying? So it's interesting how they work that in there. I don't know if you want to count that as a microtransaction or just the fact that, well, I guess if you're not a Total War person, then you don't get those races, right? Now, it's only been out a year. It's already been out a year. So I'm trying to follow if they release races, and they still haven't released races. So I'm just waiting for stuff to go on sale now, if it ever goes on sale. All right. So besides that, I've been playing, of course, Division 2, and getting laser death. I remember playing with Rebel, who's in chat sometimes. I played with him one night, and the night he was playing with me, he was like the target of opportunity for every AI player in the whole game. Like, for some reason, they would all go for him. They'd laser him down, and he'd be cursing for like 20 minutes. He'd change his build. He'd do something else, right? And then that's how I felt when we played on Tuesday. I think that I drew the short straw inside the AI algorithm, and everybody in the game was like laser focused on me.
We had people in chat going, "Does Sarge suck?" Because he's going down a lot. Yeah, it happens. The AI goes after you. So Division 2, still fun. I didn't like the way that ended, by the way. I thought that was a cop-out. I accepted it because I didn't pay for it. I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to ruin it for anybody that's going through. But it's lackluster.
It's a cop-out.
Yeah, it's very lackluster. And you know what? Division 2, that's the one downside of the story element of it. It's been lackluster and lackluster and lackluster. They just keep adding on to the disappointment of like the finale of the season.
Yeah, and then the other one I played is Civ 6, which is on Game Pass, bro. I know it's not your game.
It's on
I
Game
know it's
Pass
not- I know
on
it's not your
PC or on Xbox.
On Xbox.
All right,
On Xbox.
I'll take a look at it. I'll take a look at it.
Yeah. So Civ 6, another 4D game, is also amazing looking on Xbox. They did a great job. I haven't found too many game-breaking bugs or OP races yet. The games go pretty smooth as long as if you played Civ games before, that doesn't go on for an eternity. But you have to build correctly in that game towards what you want to do, because if you miss more, I think, than 26 turns where you're kind of fuddling around, the computer will bypass you, and it's very hard to catch up. So
Right.
like either you're in the game or you're out. Like you'll know by like turn like 50 or 60 if you made a mistake, because everybody's trouncing you. Tom Clancy, right? Yeah, dupe. I'm telling you. Well, however they can sell games, dupe. That's how this goes, man. That's how it goes. Magnavox Odyssey 200. That might be it.
No,
Stealth. Were you talking about that? I think it looks different though.
yeah, no, I looked it up, and it's still not it.
Yeah, I did download Battlefront 2 on the PC.
Yeah,
I got the package. I got the
you
package
got the
of 1 and 2.
and I went to go look for it, and it was up to $40. I was like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Bro, it was. I told you
I
to get
know.
it on May the 4th. Be with you.
I know.
I got it on May 4th.
I looked on May 5th, and it was gone. Yeah.
Nope, May 4th. $6. Come on, bro. $6. $6 is worth it. It's worth
I'll
it.
have to wait till it goes on sale again, which is fine. It'll go on sale again.
Yeah. Oh, and I did find out this, and I know we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Some of the people in the chat already know what I'm going to say, but I found out that because Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth 2 licensing is up.
Okay.
Because it's up, right? You can't buy it on Steam. You can't buy it.
Right.
However, there are people that have the game on a site completely, the full game you download for free because there is no licensing. And so then you can download the game and play Battle for Middle-earth 2, Lord of the Rings, and get the mods and the stuff that the people have been making for it.
How does that work?
Because the licensing's up.
Yeah, but that's like saying you can. I mean, obviously, like Star Wars Galaxies, the license is up from Sony Entertainment. You can go play that, but you have to like. It's not buying the actual game. Like you have to have a copy of the game, and then you have.
Anyway, if you own a copy of the game, you still have to crack it because the codes don't work because you have to connect to the server.
So you're talking about Lord of the Rings, or you're talking about Star Wars Galaxy?
No, I'm talking about Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
You can, if you have the disc and you still have the code, it might work, but the servers are not up anymore. So that's why there's a cracked version of the game that you can download.
Got it.
Yeah, and if you've never played it before, it's just like the movies. The missions are just like the movies. So if you want to be the what is it called? What was the second movie? The Twin Towers, Waterdeep, right? The Battle for Waterdeep. Helm's Deep. The Battle for Helm's Deep. Yep, that's in there. It's a great game. Yeah, no, I'm not talking about the new Lord of the Rings game. That's garbage. The new one's just garbage.
What else you been playing? Anything else?
That's a lot.
Okay, just ask.
Darkest Dungeon 2's out, but I'm like, I can't pay for it. I don't have time.
Yeah, I was looking at it. I tried to get a code for it. They denied me because I'm not big enough. But I was like, I don't have time to really play it. I was like, if I get a code, I'll try it out. I said I loved the first one. I really did like the first one, and I'm sure the second one's good.
It's really good in the beginning, but then if you don't actually learn the game, you get smoked. Get smoked. Yeah,
you
have to understand. You have to understand that game in order to progress forward. The game allows you to fuck around for a little while, but right before mid game starts, if you don't got enough guys on the roster and a good rotation, you're done.
And if you build up your roster and you don't learn the game correctly, you're going to lose your whole big. You can have an alpha squad in that game, but you have to make sure there's backups because once again, if you get accidentally smoked by a strange battle that you're not really prepared for, it's brutal. It's like playing Darkest Dungeon is like a lesser version, and I don't mean that in a bad way, a lesser version of you playing XCOM on Legendary. I used to love XCOM. What was the other one? What was it called? It was called Cyber. Not Siphon Filter. It was just like XCOM. Chat, my brain, you got to help me out here, chat. It was just like XCOM. It was an older XCOM game, but it was it was like in a cyberpunk type of world.
Everybody, all your guys had trench coats.
Yes.
They look like little robots.
Yes.
But they all wore trench coats.
Yes.
Yes, I know which game that is.
I don't know. I forget the name of the game.
The name escapes me, but you had agents. They had different skill sets, but it was an isometric 3/4 view. But the guys were small, but everybody looked like they were a spy. And some guys were robots, and some guys were like half.
I know
half
chat
cyborg.
will get this. Yeah, chat will get it. I know someone in chat will bring it up. That's
from the 90s.
I used to love that game so much.
Yeah, they had like a minigun. Like the best gun to get was like the minigun on the wrist.
Yeah,
like the minigun was on the wrist.
I went from like that into XCOM into other
XCOM, same thing. Like XCOM on the PC was really good. Then it got played out and they started going down the wrong path. Then they did that remake on the console and they did a really nice job and the graphics were really cool. But then they didn't follow through. It kind of made it like a movie. It kind of dropped off, but it's still one of the best like turn-based strategy games that's out at that time. I don't know if anything else is that. No, I don't know. It was Flashpoint. I don't think it was Flashpoint.
Was it Syndicate Wars?
Syndicate.
It was Syndicate. It was Syndicate.
Syndicate. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. You got a screenshot for that?
Did somebody? Yeah, I'll bring it up. I'll look it up.
Yeah. Syndicate for sure. That was a hard game too. The missions in that game were like get inside the place without being noticed, and then after you get the secret plans, then you can start shooting people. It was intense. But it was isometric 3/4 view.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
People are gonna look at this and be like, "This is absolute ass."
It's garbage.
This is ass.
Of course, they're gonna say it's garbage. Look at the games they're playing right now.
This game right here, chat. I love this game. This game was so good. This game sounds.
Yes, that's how old we are. Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah, this game was phenomenal. I used to love this game. You had your whole squad, and you go around,
and you had to position them. You had to position them in good spots because when the guys started showing up, you had to be able to get them in the crossfire. Otherwise, you would die.
Yeah. So
yeah.
So much fun. It's like we're going down the
memory
lane tonight. Games I've been playing this week. I played a little game that I absolutely love. I love this game. I used it as a palate cleanser the other night. I played this game right here. It's Circuit Superstars. Okay. Circuit Superstars. People look at this game and you think of RC Pro-Am and
it does look like RC Pro-Am,
off-road or whatever. All those games. This game is so freaking good. When I tell you this is one of the best car games out there, I know people are going to look at it and go Forza Horizon, Gran Turismo, all those games. There is so much strategy behind this game when you're playing against other people, and when you watch, if you guys ever watch, go watch just like any game, right? Go watch the high tier players that play this game and they race against each other. It's so entertaining. It's like watching an actual race, right? It's so good because you could draft and there's position and there's pitting and stuff like that. It's such a good game and it's so repeatable because there's like time trials and different things that you can do. For some reason, I don't know if it's because the way it looks, it reminds me of RC Pro-Am, and that's why I like it so much.
Yeah, I think it's RC Pro-Am.
But god damn it, it's such a fun game to play. I can gloat a little bit. I'm the #1 holder of the Top Gear track in the world in this game. It took me like 3 days solid. I was just doing that match over and over and over for the time, and I got #1. I was like, yeah, and I just left. I was like, I've had it for about 8 months now, so I've had the record for 8 months.
It's an old school competition. Like you put your name in the machine, and then you come back later and see who beats your score.
Yeah. The downside of this game is the lag that happens when you play online with people. It's a little rough at times. It's smooth, but then it becomes rough at times. But what I would love this to do, I want to have a member stream with people that are in members of it, right? They are working on it where you can make the AI and like label the AI that you want. So I could like label like you as car 6 or car 5, whatever, and have people in, and then it keeps track of all of your matches. and you can go back.
It sounds like betting is about to happen.
You could go back and play the replays, and then change the camera angles to each of the cars and do like a broadcast of it. It's phenomenal. I love it. I love this game. It's a small little game, really great.
What is this called?
It's called Circuit Superstars.
Circuit Superstars.
It's cross-play. Okay, it's fantastic.
You know, to this day, I remember RC Pro-Am, and I could never finish the full track once you got the fastest car because it was too fast.
Yeah.
The car was like, I guess my hand-eye coordination at that age when I was playing it, I could not figure out how to control that car and keep it on the track and try to beat the CPU, because the CPU unforgiving when you got to the fastest car.
There's something about like I used to love racing car games. Like I used to play Gran Turismo and all those games, but for some reason, the funny part of this, Sarge, is like I play Forza Horizon and it's too arcadey for me. Meanwhile, I'm playing this game, which looks arcadey, but it's the most realistic like car game, and that's
because you got the RC Pro-Am thing in your head. It allows you to play that game because it reminds you of RC Pro.
I guess, but it's absolutely a fantastic game. So I've been playing that. I've been playing Jedi Survivor. Fantastic. I finished the story last Friday. Great story. I'm not going to ruin it for anybody. Go play it. It's fantastic. If you played Fallen Order, that story in Fallen Order was fantastic. This is right up there with it. And the sad part about this, Sarge, is that the best Star Wars that we've had since Disney took over is from a video game, not from the actual movies or TV shows. Right? Like the actual writers of Jedi Survivor should write the next Star Wars. Like they do a phenomenal job with the writing. They're just so emotional, and obviously there's a couple parts that whatever, but overall
they write like a human.
Yeah, overall it's a good story, and I'm looking forward to whatever they come out with next for Respawn.
Yeah, but you know as well as I do, we've already solved the Star Wars quandary. We already solved it. Star Wars can make a 180-degree turn and come right back to the center stage if you just do the Timothy Zahn trilogy. End of story. Right? End of story. And for those of you who don't know what story that is, you can buy the graphic novel in a comic book store, or you can go out and buy them in the bookstore. I would get the hardcovers because they're really good books. But it's the Timothy Zahn trilogy, Heir to the Empire. I'm going to get them wrong now. It's Heir to the Empire. So what the hell is the second one called? And the last one's The Last Command. Like I don't remember the middle one. It's making me mad now. Anyway, Timothy Zahn trilogy. If you guys like to read sci-fi, you like Star Wars, do yourself a favor, pick it up. Come back to me next week, because believe me, when you start reading them, you just burn right through them because it's like watching a movie. Because Timothy Zahn knows Star Wars, he knows how to do the character development, and he knows how to make a picture. You read the book and you actually see the movie. That's how good he writes. And so you bring that out. The screenplay's already written. You just hand it over. Done. Star Wars is fixed. But we all know they're not going to do that because someone's got to go first.
Brain says, my buddy and I used to get stoned and do 24-hour endurance races, and those were great. You can actually do endurance races in Circuit Superstars. You can put as many laps as you want. You can make it as hard as you want. Like you could put the tire wear up to 100%. You could do the gas 100%. You can bring it down. You could do damage, where you actually like start swerving all over the place because you're damaged and whatnot. So it's really cool. NHL is on Game Pass, Sarge. You know what we should do next week, Sarge? We should play NHL 23. We should just play one. Don't play ahead of me. Just download it, and we'll play it for the very first time with each other next week. NHL 23. I haven't played a hockey game in God, I don't even know.
Is it on console or PC? It's on console.
It's on console.
On console?
Yeah. It's on Xbox Game Pass.
I would need a couple hours to get the buttons down.
No prep. Like you just download it and we play it together for the first time.
The first time?
Yeah.
All right.
We'll get that together. What else have I been playing? I've been playing. What else did I play? I played something else, and I can't even think what the hell I played. Played Circuit Superstars. Oh, I played Division. That's fine. And there was some other game I played, and I can't think of it anymore. Regardless, that's what we've been playing. Let's go to the top stories. I think we have the top story. Where's? There it is. Got the button. Top stories. All right. Let's go to the Keeley Fest here. Keeley Fest. Keeley Fest here. He's got 40 partners, and as you can tell, there's a spot here to look at him right here, right? But I like going to his page and seeing them all go past. It looks much better. So we got Capcom, we got Wonder People, we got Humble Games, we got Level Infinity, we got PlayStation, we got Sega, we got Samsung Gaming Hub, Raw Fury. Look, Keeley.
There's a lot here.
Yeah, Keeley. Years ago, if you watch this show, I said before he had this, I said Keeley's going to make his own thing. And I called it Keeley Fest, is what I called it. Okay. Since then, it's been what, 5 years now since he started this. This is the 5th one, I think. He's destroyed E3. E3 does not exist anymore, right? They literally canceled E3. He's got all these guys, and they have days after days after days of content here. Like the schedule that's coming up here, June 8th, June 11th, right? He's got Summer Game Fest on June 8th, 3 p.m. Days of the Devs on June 8th. He's got the Xbox Showcase on June 11th. He's got the Ubisoft Forward on June 12th. So we'll be covering all of this, chat, because it's the summer. My son doesn't have school, so I will be live when this happens. And if you guys have watched me in the past, we're pretty much live all day talking about this stuff. And then we'll post all this stuff that we talk about in a Discord server. So if you guys miss any of the game trailers or anything like that, you can watch all of that as well. What are you expecting, Sarge, out of all these 40 companies that are coming out, right? Is there a game? Is there a studio you're looking forward to what they're bringing out? Are you just looking in general, like what's on the plate from Xbox or PlayStation? Anything?
Well, first of all, Keeley doesn't do the same thing that E3 did. E3 tries to do this like you're watching the Academy Awards type show, right? Where it's all this pomp and circumstance, and it's supposed to be like this big show, and everything's all proper. Keeley's like very laid back. It's like, these are the guys in the industry. They're coming out to hang out with us. Hey, Steve from whatever company, like Activision, what are you guys working on? What are you guys coming out? And like they just start talking. They go, yeah, well, these are a couple games we got in the pipeline. We got this. Here's some footage. We got this. Like, that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be an uplifting, positive experience about what games are coming out and what ideas they have on the forefront.
Right.
That's what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be like, and now here comes EA, show us a game. Right. And then they come out, they go, yeah, we're having a little first-person shooter. It's done in the set piece of... no one cares. Like, no one wants to hear all that nonsense. Just talk about the game like you love it. Show us some footage on what you think about it. Like, just be positive about it. That's what Keeley's trying to do, right? That's 100% win. That's why E3's dead. Because it's all corporatized, and they don't want to pay for it. But meanwhile, Keeley can put a bunch of people in a room, and they just start talking about their games. So what's the difference? So are you saying that the ESRB and whoever else is in charge of E3 just couldn't chill for a second and just do a little kickback and do the same thing Keeley's doing? No. Too much money. Got those games to work on. And now he just kicks back and goes, like, we're going to have some fun. He wears sneakers, for Christ's sake. All right? He's wearing a sport jacket, and the camera goes out too far, and you see his footwear. He's got goddamn sneakers on, man. Yeah. You can't get more laid back than this.
Yeah, no, he's crushing it with what he's doing. And Creature said in chat, he's like, he gets 40 people, and E3 couldn't get Bob from down the street. Like, they couldn't get anybody. The one I'm looking forward to the most, obviously it's not a name that's scrolling across the board here. Digital Extremes actually worked on it, but I don't know if they're still attached to it. But I'm hyped for that Transformers game. That's what I want to see out of this. It's been 5-6 months since we saw anything from the Transformers trailer. I want gameplay of Transformers this summer.
Okay, but see, the difference is this: like, I don't care if the game isn't done, right? Just show us something,
right?
Like, this is our idea. This is what we're going with. And if they're in mid-cycle and they get a positive or negative reinforcement from when they're working, they might make an adjustment. They might pivot a little bit.
Well, this game is actually, supposedly it's done. It's done. They're just finishing it up. It's done. Now, obviously, everyone says their games are done and it comes out and they're broke buggy. but I'm really excited to see something from the Transformers game, and I would like to see just a tease of massive Star Wars game. I would love just a little Ubisoft, dropped in their forward this summer. Show us that Star Wars game. Those are the two things that I'm looking most forward to. And obviously, I don't know if we'll get any of them, but that's what I'm looking forward to. Chat, let me know. I was going to say, chat, let me know what you guys are looking forward to out of all these companies, out of all these, whatever game you're looking for. Maybe it's coming out. Maybe it's Beyond Good and Evil 2. Who knows, right? What are you excited for maybe to see we're less than 3 weeks away, right? 3 weeks away from Keighley Fest, Summer Game Fest. What are you going to say, Sarge?
I just want an uplifting show. Like, get back down to the ground.
Yeah.
Right? Get back down to the ground where the people are. Like, just talk about your stuff. Hey, you guys are a bunch of artists. What do you got going on? What do you got working on? Like, tell us what you're working on, right? And it's supposed to be them sharing their ideas with the public. And if it rings well, people start looking at their websites and they get a little following. That's how it used to be, remember?
Yeah.
Like, you talk about your game and you show a little gameplay. Even if it's just an idea, it might not even be the finished product, but you show your idea to get interest of other people. That's how it used to be. We need to go back to that, right? Indie guys need to get a following again. These other guys who are trying to... The devs in the independent companies need to get attention on their ideas so they don't feel like they have to copycat all the mainstream ideas in order to be successful. Right? If somebody showed me Wild West or Weird West like a year and a half or 2 years before it actually came out and they just talked about it normally, instead of it just being like this little blurb and then everyone shut up and now we release a game, that would be more interesting to me. Right? Oh, a new idea. Someone's trying something new. Let's watch, right? If you don't think there's enough people in the gaming market or the gaming sphere, as it may be now, that doesn't like independent, just kind of cool things to like lock onto, that's a mistake. I think Keighley should go a little farther. I think Keighley should have a list. Every company that he should have a list of the sites to go to. The company should already have a site to go to. So when they're done talking about their idea, you can immediately go there.
Well, he does have a site. Yeah, he does have a site. But what I would like to see them do is do something along the lines of like, we showed you this game. Here's a demo. Play it right now. Right? Like,
right.
Yeah. That's
something.
I would like them to do something
immediately.
Like
they talk about the game. Here's the name of the people. Boom, site, go.
Yeah.
So you can check it out anytime you want. There needs to be a little bit more connection between the gamer and the indie devs.
Yeah.
Let them talk. Let them get together. Let them look at their stuff.
Yeah. I think that'd be cool. Like at the end of the show, as soon as we're done here, all the games that you saw in this section, you can go play the demo. They've kind of done that. I would like to see more.
He's getting there, but it's not like an official thing. He tells you he says it in the speech when he's talking to them, but it's not like an official.
Krebsy says, I would also like to see WB give more information on the Suicide Squad was delayed, and if nothing's said, the game will be broken. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of weird. I don't know if I think they go silent. I think they go silent until until the Video Game Awards show later this year. I hope I'm wrong, but all right. I want to talk about Zelda real fast, Sarge. Right? I want to talk about Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, Legends of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Right now, all the review sites came out, and I want to state that I don't believe in a perfect game, right? To me, there's no such thing as perfect. There's always something that could be established better or do something better or reference better in the game. Now, I get if people are fans of Zelda or any other game that gets 10 out of 10. To me, 10 out of 10s are just ridiculous, right? So IGN, Metro, GameSpot, Destructoid, Gameblog, Washington Post, VGC, VG247, VGC, Guardian, all gave it perfect scores, right? If it was 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100, 5 out of 5, they gave it all perfect score. Game Informer, 9.8, which to me is perfect, right? Like, right? Like a 9.6, 9.8.
Because nobody's perfect.
Right. Okay. Metacritic gives it a 96, and OpenCritic gives it a 97, right? And I think those scores are realistic, right? I don't think, because if it's a perfect game, that means there should be no problems. You should have nothing to say about the game, meaning, right? I can tell you right now, I don't like the game mechanic as far as the weapons breaking down so quickly and stuff like that. I watched SkillUp's review. He says it's 100% play this game. It's amazing. He recommends playing it, right? I like the way
he doesn't give numbers.
Correct. I like his reviews because he's just letting you know that this is good, this is bad, but there's more good than bad. I recommend this game. This is a game that you should play, right? What do you think, Sarge, about these scores that these industry leaders, I guess you could say, the critics give a perfect score?
The whole mentality of the review for a video game is much more difficult than I would say like a movie, right? Because people's likes and dislikes are factors in whether or not you like the game or not. Art style, gameplay, genre. Yeah, they're all different reasons why you like or don't like a game. We've talked about it in the past, and I'll regurgitate the same thing again because I'm going to hit it home, and people are going to start talking about the way we talk, and it's going to be normal, right? Every video game should be rated in different categories, 1 to 5 or 0 to 100, whatever you want to do it. You know, right. I think 0 to 5. I think 0 to 5 is enough because you don't need to be so detailed with 1 to 100. But each category is rated 1 to 5. This way, you get an average after you finish it, like they used to do back in the old days. I'm not sure if anybody remembers GamePro, the magazine GamePro, but GamePro I think was originally from GameStop, was it not?
I believe so.
Yeah, a long time ago. So GamePro was a magazine, and they would do reviews, and inside the review, it would show you different categories, and they would rate just like that. So sound, gameplay, art style, like that, it would rate it. And so nobody would get a 10, right, or a 5, but you get close. You get a 4.5, you get a 4.9. Like there's all these different ways of getting a high score, but you were never perfect, right? So to me, a game review should have a standardized look at what you're looking for in the game, not the fact that you don't like the art style or the type of gameplay because it's something you're not used to. There needs to be a standardized list of criteria that you generally look at for a video game, and that's how you score it. If we went to that, there'd be a much more, I think, even-keeled, non-biased review system going on. And so you wouldn't get these things where if someone didn't send the check correctly, you get a 10 over here and you get a 6 over here because they didn't get their copy on time, or they didn't get their check to clear. Like I don't like that. If there should be X number of copies of games given to specific large percentage people,
outlets or whatever,
automatically, and then they're the ones that do it. Not that we're holding back from you because you don't like us, or I'm holding back from whoever. If that's the case, if you think that this guy who does reviews is biased against our company and this guy's not, if that were the case, still give out the review copies, because if everybody gives it an 8 or a 9 and they give it a 6, read what they said and see if they can defend the 6. If they can't defend the 6, then and then that way their credibility goes on the line, not the fact that you're worried about the company.
Right. I want to make it clear. I'm not giving criticism to Zelda for making 10s. I think overall the industry needs to change, right? To obviously, if you put 10 out of 10, you're going to get some clicks on your site. You know what I'm saying? I just don't believe that there's perfect. We've talked about this in the past, so it's not me. If you guys think I'm like, well, Zelda's not a 10, each their own. A game that's a 10 for me, perfect game to me, is like Red Dead Redemption, but Red Dead Redemption to Sarge is not a 10. You know what I mean? Like, not a perfect game, right? So everyone's got their own thing. What I'm saying is there needs to be a standardized, and what's the way Sarge says, a standardized thing going across the board. And Bueller News, he did a video a couple days ago talking about how when Redfall came out, people weren't giving the persona of reviewers weren't saying the technical problems of Redfall, right? They were just telling you that it was great, right? Before it came out, and everyone's like, this is not great. He's saying back in the old days, in the magazines with Nintendo Power and other magazines, that they used to actually review games based on each individual category. Music, sound, art, all this stuff was like separate. And then they would give you an overall, like, is it poor or great, but they wouldn't give it a number, right? And I agree, right? We've been saying this for years. It needs to be like a standardized thing going across the board, because I'm tired of seeing they hand out 10s now. Like every game comes out, they're like, oh, it's 10. It's either shit, 7 or 10s, right? There's no numbers in between. It's all perfect. No problem with the game, right? And I think there's a major problem with the review process right now.
You have to remember, though, in this desolate wasteland we call the gaming sphere, if they can latch on to a 10, it's almost like them throwing a life preserver to the industry.
Right.
Like, hey, they still make good games, by the way. There's still some gems out there, so they have to give this one a 10. So it reaffirms everybody's belief that there's still some good in gaming, as opposed to the slew of nonsense that we're dealing with on a weekly basis.
Yeah, Paul, I'm not saying that needs to be an objective review. What I'm saying is it needs to be a review, and each thing needs to be, if there's 100 points, right, and you look at the sound, and the sound's based out of 1 out of 10, and they go, oh, the sound's a 6, the controls is a 7, and right. It's not perfect, right? They break down each thing. So if you're looking for a game, you're like, you know what? I really like RPGs. How is the controls in the RPG? And they tell you, the controls are, it's a 6 out of 10. The sound design in this RPG is a 7 out of 10. The story of this is an 8 out of 10. And based on what you like about RPGs, like, I really like the story in RPGs. And, the story, 8.5, 9, cool, right? And that's what you would go for.
It gives you a better range, right? If you listen, if guy A and B like the story, they give it like an 8. But if other guys don't care about story, they're gonna give it like a 5 or a 6. But everything evens out, because if I give you the scorecard of things to judge it by, some people weigh things more than others. But the average would be the same. The average would be the average. That's what you're looking for. You're not looking for someone to throw a hand grenade, and because someone decided it's time for a 10, then there's just 10s. Right? You judge it based on a criteria, and whether you think it's a 7 or I think it's a 6, or you think it's a 9, I think it's a 5, but my other categories reflect what I concentrate on.
Right.
The average will be the average. Everything works out in the end if you judge it on a criteria.
Obviously, guys, when you're looking at a reviewer, you're going to probably like the person that's playing the game, and you're going to look at them and you respect them, and whatever they say, you're going to be like, oh, if he likes it, then I'm going to like it, or if she likes it, I'm going to like it. Right? But if they hate it, you're like, I'll probably pass on it. When it comes down to being subjective about if the sound design's a 6 out of 10, it's giving you more information than 10. I'm giving it a 10. It's a perfect game, right? And if that's what most people, and this is what Bueller said on his video, he said most people, they click on the video and they scroll down or end to the end just to see what the score is. That's it. They just want to know what the score is and they move on.
They don't read.
Majority, right?
Okay, so when I say to judge it, I don't want to come across like I understand, Paul, that it's still subjective, but the difference is true gamers that review games, that know how to review a game, if they give you the criteria of what they're talking about, if they say the
ACG does a good job,
if they say the sound in the game is a 7. Then immediately after that statement, he uses examples of other games related to this game and why he says that, right? If I defend my point with actual facts and a comparison, and that's the way his review process is, then it's more credible. Then you can relate to it because you're a gamer. You don't just say, well, I didn't like the sound, it's a 6. Right? I didn't like the sound. Then you go, well, it's a medieval game, and I thought the music didn't reflect the medieval theme, and other games in this genre have this kind of sound that goes with it, and it just didn't feel right. And he actually describes why he picked it. It's not just throwing a number on the board. That's what a review is, right? That's the difference between throwing up a number and doing a review of a game. That's all.
Right. Well, right. But when you're looking at subjective stuff, if it's just a 10, you don't know where the 10 lies. Someone could just like the game because they like the graphics and like, it's a 10, right? But if you break down each individual thing and it's a 90 out of 100 and each category is broken down into 10 points, you're like, oh, well, there's more positive than negatives and this is a good game. But if you just say 10 and then you get the game and it's something that you're like, oh, God, the UI system in this game is terrible, right? But the fighting's phenomenal, right? But the story's okay, right?
Well, but that's what I'm saying. If there's 5 categories or 6 categories, and each one's got its own little range, then you'll get a more accurate review of the game.
Correct.
Sound, gameplay, art style.
I like ACG. I like ACG's reviews. I like SkillUp's reviews for the most part, right? Because he gives you everyone's bias. Everyone has a bias, right?
Sure.
But they, in my opinion, do the best job of telling you information about the game and then going, yeah, it's a buy, it's a pass, it's a good buy, whatever. It's on the consumer to listen to smart ones, right? And there's a bunch of people out there, but as people do reviews, this is why I don't do reviews. If you come and watch me play live, I break it down and go, you know what? I like the UI, I like the story. This is good, this is bad, but I'll never give you it's an 8 out of 10. Like I hate doing that. I hate doing that. All right, we're going on to the next thing. Rumor, Dead Rising reboot is in the works at Capcom. So, according to a new rumor, Capcom's long dormant Dead Rising franchise might be returning from the grave for a reboot. Now, obviously, Sarge, there's Jez Gordon has the rumor. He says Windows Central suggests that Dead Rising might finally return to form of a reboot, while addressing another user on Twitter following the recent whispers of Konami striking an exclusively deal with Sony. We'll talk about that in a second. Corden claimed that here's reports of the reboot. Also, just as quick to point out that there's also no concrete evidence that Capcom is working on it. What do you think about Dead Rising? I used to like this game a lot when it first came out. It was fun, right? It was good. But do you think that zombies are kind of over, or they'll never be over? They're always going to be around.
Okay, so what age bracket are you in? And how many zombie games have you played?
I've played so many.
And then how many zombie games have some of these other kids played?
True. There's always a new tissue in the box.
There's always a new, right. There's always somebody else that's going to say, like, okay, so what was the perks of Dead Rising? At the time when Dead Rising came out, there was a lot of zombie movies out.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of zombie shows that were just coming out. And so Dead Rising was you in a shopping mall and try to make modded weapons. And the modded weapons were really cool. But the downside was no matter how cool your modded weapon was, it only had a finite amount of time to use it before it broke. And then you'd have to find something else to build. And so basically the game loop was, what is the most creative way I could build something to kill zombies with? And then take the screenshot and record it and put it on for my friends to look at. That's what it was when the game first came out. You did a little recording on Xbox, and you would just take the recording and show like I made a weed whacker with like a saw blade and something else, and you show like how awesome, how many guys you could take out. Like that was the whole point of the game, right? It wasn't really like, oh, get out of the mall. It was like you going to every store on purpose to find the
weapon, to kill the
best weapon possible. It wasn't you trying to actually win. It was just to have fun. Right, that was the whole point of that game, right? And it did a sequel, and it did well, right? I still think, right, if they just did a better version, I think State of Decay is a great multiplayer zombie game, right? Because it has all the facets of a real survival game with the added effect of you playing multiplayer and you control each other, right? And I know it sounds bad, but it makes the game fun. Like people who understand how that game works, you could have certain weapons, you could have certain things, and you could cause problems for your friends. And it makes it more interesting, because I've been in games where my friend's base is all perfect. He's got everything set off all nice. He's got the right things everywhere. And then, of course, somebody else comes in the game and starts throwing Molotov and bombs and alarm clocks and draws as many zombies as he can because he wants to test out how good the base is. Right. Then his buddy loses a couple of his good guys. They end up dying. He's got to find new guys. And he gets all pissed off. But if you were to record that and put it as a nice video to watch, it's great entertainment. It was just fun to watch.
Speaking of State of Decay, actually, I totally forgot about State of Decay 3. They showed it like 2 years ago, and Xbox. Hopefully, we see some more about State of Decay 3 this year. See, I would like a zombie game more like State of Decay 3 than Dead Rising, or reboot of Dead Rising. Because Dead Rising to me is that arcadey type style stuff, but I want more Walking Dead, right? I want to like live in the world. I always thought that Division would have a zombie mode. I really did. I really thought that the zombie mode would happen in Division. It never did.
Well, but if you remember State of Decay, the mood in that game is great. The sound design and the desolation and you feeling alone and you're terrified the whole time. But why? Because your guy can actually die. Like your guy can die. So you're trying to level up his attributes so he doesn't die. Right? That's part of the fun of that game is you have to, the clock is ticking. You got to get certain things every day. Now, people who know how to play the game, know that if I do this, this, and this, it buys me at least 3 days. I have time to do other stuff once I get these things set up, because you have to know which bases to take over that gives you the actual supplies, right? That's how the game works.
Right. Get the water, get the electricity.
Yeah. Right. But if you strategically pick the right ones, then your base is decent, and then you have time to go do other stuff. But if you don't know how to really play the game and you try to do like a basic supply hunt, you always realize that you're always chasing the supplies, and your guy never gets to level up properly, and so now you're more susceptible to being either infected or die.
Yeah.
Right. That's the whole point. Like, I got this great guy, I leveled him up, but I called in too many hordes at once and I couldn't save him. And you're heartbroken, right? And you're terrified and you're running. That's what made that game good.
Remember that guy that he had his character for like 5 months or something like that, and then he got killed and he started crying.
Yeah, he started crying.
He started crying. He's like, no.
Right.
It's awesome.
Right. You have an attachment to a character in a game. That's how you know it's a good survival game. Right, you care about the guy you worked on, as opposed to I'm just running around, I don't care. I'll find another guy just like him.
So,
right?
Chat's saying there's an update with State of Decay 2. We might have to go back and check it out.
It's a good listen. It's a good listen.
I liked it. I liked it.
You need to find the clip. You need to put that in. As a matter of fact, that clip should be at the end of the show.
I don't know if we have that clip anymore. I have to go through my files and see.
That clip is pure gold.
All right, we're going to the next topic. EA CEO says Battlefield will come back in an entirely new way. Right? What the hell does that mean, Sarge? What does that mean? Let's talk about that, right? Because in just an interview a couple weeks ago, they said that Battlefield is that squad-based game that people go for, right? That's what they said it's not a competitor to Call of Duty. Right, that's what they said. This is what they said in another article. Okay. So, what is Andrew Wilson talking about when he says Battlefield will come back in an entirely new way? What do you think that means?
He doesn't know. I'm going to be honest. He doesn't know, because you would not have destroyed the core mechanics of what that game was in order to put in specialists if you knew what your game was, and if you knew it wasn't a Call of Duty, then you would not have made it like a Call of Duty.
Right.
See, he talks out of both sides of his ass, is what he does. He says what he's supposed to say because he's the corporate overlord, but he doesn't show with his development team that you know what it is. The whole point, like, if you ever watched the YouTube video Battlefield Friends, like, I know it's a joke, how they do things in that game, but they make fun of all the right things. That's what made that series so great. Okay. But in those videos, the camaraderie between the characters is how you played the game when you used to play it with your friends. Like, if you got on, right, normally, you would switch off from time to time, but normally your group of friends would pick the guy that he likes. Like, one guy is the support, one guy is the sniper, and then the whole time you're playing, you're talking. And not that you're just talking to each other about the game, you're just bullshitting, right? How was your week? What's going on? Oh, there's a guy over here in the house. Help me out. Take the guys. Help the guy. Oh, my friend in the tank's coming over. We need to help him out. Like, that's how you played that game. It was just a cool, fun time with your buddies. Yes, you played a little serious when you made the call outs, and you actually had the button to call out where guys were, but it wasn't so serious, and it was fun, right? The fully destructible environment was fun. Like, call out, there's a sniper in the building. You call your buddy. Hey, get that tank over here, blow that building up, and take out the sniper. Hey, what'd you do last week? Oh, I was hanging out with my girlfriend. Oh yeah, right? And that's how you played that game.
You're just bullshitting as you play.
You didn't play like Hell Let Loose. Hell Let Loose is serious as hell. Everyone's like, you can't talk about nothing. Don't talk about your mom, your girlfriend, your dishes, your car payments. I don't care. We're in a war. That's all we're talking about. Like, that's Hell Let Loose.
It's so
Battlefield, completely different.
Yeah, Hell Let Loose is so realistic that I got kicked from the clan because I didn't have enough time to play with them.
That's it.
Yeah, I didn't have enough time to put into their when they played on Fridays and Sundays. I was like, all right, so they kicked me out.
It's not because they didn't like you, bro.
Oh no, I know that. It's because of my time. Because of my time.
Build a team. They're trying to build a team. That's it.
So I don't know what this entirely new way. What I hope it's not is
entirely new way, bro.
I don't want like if I want to play Call of Duty, I'll go play Call of Duty. If I want to go play Apex Legends, I'll go play Apex Legends. I don't want my Battlefield to be Apex Legends. I don't want my Battlefield to be Call of Duty. I don't want my Battlefield to be like Tarkov, right? I don't want my Battlefield to be anything other than Battlefield. I don't know if that's what you call gatekeeping, okay? Like, there's different genres and different first-person shooters. Like, if I want a competitive first-person shooter game, I'll go play that. If I want to play a squad-based game, then I want to play by Battlefield. So I don't know what he means by this entirely new way, because they tried an entirely new way with Battlefield 2042, and they completely and utterly screwed it up.
Yeah, because they were trying to make Call of Duty. Right. By the way, in case chat's wondering, 30 and I have already solved this game's problem anyway. Right, we've already solved the Battlefield problem, and we've solved the Call of Duty problem. Right, Battlefield just needs to say we're sorry. And for the next 2 years, we're going to make just a fun Battlefield game while we actually work on a real Battlefield game. And the one that they release, just to let us play around with, you can keep the specialists in there, except it's G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe Battlefield.
G.I. Joe Battlefield. You can have the specialist guys in there. That way the specialist characters from the show have the special weapons that they used to have in the show that could be in the game. You can have the cool G.I. Joe vehicles. Everyone will have memory flashbacks of all the cool vehicles. And then you can unlock the vehicles the longer you play, right? I've been in a tank, I get a better tank, and then a better tank. I play in a plane, I get a better plane, and a better plane, and a better plane. And that way you could pick whatever G.I. Joe toy in ever existence. It would be fun as hell. Everyone would want to play it. Everyone would be screaming on the mics, Cobra, or G.I. Joe, Yo Joe, right? It would just be fun. And while we're playing G.I. Joe, right? And while we're playing that, you can give us seasons where we unlock characters. I know I'm saying it's evil, but you can unlock new characters because you know how many goddamn G.I. Joe there are, guys. You know how many there are. So you'd have to unlock them. And while we're all busy with that, they make the next real Battlefield game, right? And then we'll have fun with G.I. Joe, and then they'll come out with the real game in a couple years, and then you can bring back Battlefield. That's how you fix it.
The G.I. Joe game that came out a couple years ago was like an Overwatch clone. It was terrible.
Yeah, but they already have their foot in the door. They have it.
No, I know. It just
there's a specialist. They have specialists.
Remember when we played Battlefield 1942 back in the day, and they had a mod for Star Wars? I was like, dude, they didn't make a Star Wars game, and then they did.
They did.
And then they did. They made Battlefront, right? So, all right. Next story I want to talk about: Starfield, Sarge. Starfield, everyone's worried about. Okay.
Thank you.
Everyone's worried about Starfield. Here's a rumor: id Software, working closely with Bethesda to overhaul the Starfield combat since last August. The combat is vastly better state than it was during the Xbox showcase last year. Okay, and on top of that, Starfield, these are also rumors, or not rumors, but these are leaks coming out. New Starfield details, the ESRB, okay, it says it's a rated M for mature, for blood, language, suggestive themes, use of drugs, and violence. Okay, you're going to assume the role of a miner. Not a miner like a child, but a miner like guy to dig, okay? Miner tasked with finding artifacts across the galaxy. You're going to go up against humans. You're going to go up against robots. You're going to go up against alien enemies. There's futuristic guns. There's lasers. There's axes and explosives. There's sex confirmed, Sarge. I know a lot of people are excited about that. Okay, a fictional drug.
How many sex that they have, that's why.
Yeah, a fictional drug is prominent in the game. One section involves players working in a drug lab, and in-game purchases confirmed. Now, Juicehead, I think is his name, right, had a video, and he did some research and said that all the games that say in-game purchases, and he went back to all the other games that had game purchases, and certain games didn't say in-game purchases, right? And the only game that came up that said in-game purchases were two games that Bethesda had. One was Fallout 76, and two was the Skyrim Definitive Edition, I think it was, the last edition, and because it has the mod store in there, the Creation Club. Okay, and then Fallout 76 has it. So, now I said this in the very beginning, right? I said that because Starfield is going to be on Game Pass, I was like, they have to figure a way to monetize on Game Pass. And I said it's either going to be two ways. I said they're going to sell you microtransactions like Fallout 76. I said it's going to be like Fallout 76. And I also said that down the road, they'll probably put multiplayer in it. Okay, because obviously, if you put multiplayer in it, and the reason I thought about this is when they first showed it last year, when they first showed the ship and you were changing the gas tanks and all the other stuff on it, I was like, oh, That is 100% microtransactions, so they can make your ship look different than other people. And then what would drive that more, okay, is like Fallout 76. When you go to someone's house, you see what they have and the different themes. So when you down the road, again, there's no confirmation that this is multiplayer in any way, shape, or form. But I think down the road with 1,000 planets and all these things and your base building and doing all of these things, that's a 100% monetization model that they could do with this game. So do you think this is just in-game purchase like DLC, Sarge, or do you think this is in-game purchase like microtransactions and cosmetics?
I think initially when the game releases, they're going to have to find a way for you to not think about any kind of microtransactions at all. So they'll mention a little bit about Creation Club for Starfield, and that's how it'll be advertised.
Right.
However, I believe after the initial selling point of the game, whether it fails on week 1 or doesn't, I think that Starfield will be the most monetized game Bethesda has ever released. Just not in the open immediately, but it will be the most monetized game.
Yeah, I think what they're going to do is like a Trojan horse. Okay, they're going to put this game out and it's going to have a nice robust mission. It's going to be like 40, 60 hour, whatever it is for the RPG type of stuff to explore all the places.
Get you in.
Get you used to the spaceship and all your stuff that you're doing. And then they're going to be like, boop, microtransaction store.
When you get bored, because you've been playing a long time, then it'll probably be, I'm most likely it will be under Creation Club, because Creation Club, the way that they try to sell it with the verbiage doesn't sound like microtransactions. Right? It sounds like there's just a place you can go to get some cool stuff for the game, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
Right? But in the past, we have seen, well, I have seen how Bethesda has bent the knee to microtransactions.
Right.
And we already know how upset, even though he didn't say it, but the way he talked about it, how upset Todd was that they could not monetize Skyrim. Because if you think of how many people play Skyrim and how long people have been playing Skyrim, and you've released Skyrim 3 times after the initial release, and they still couldn't monetize it, right? They're still mad of all the money they missed out on Skyrim. Trust me when I say this. They are not leaving any money on the table for Starfield. They are going to make as much money as they possibly can with Starfield. Trust me, right? You don't talk that way about a game that's 12 years old. Okay. You don't talk about a game like that like you're mad about you didn't make enough money on it when you sold the game 3 more times after the initial release.
Well, they learned their lesson.
They learned their lesson from Fallout 76.
Correct. And they
know exactly what to do.
Well, you got to also look at Redfall was supposed to have microtransactions in it as well.
That was
right. So Bethesda is trying to put microtransactions in more of their games because they want to be able to monetize. Now, Kylo Green in chat says, I don't understand the point of cosmetics in a single player game. I'm right there with you. I don't understand why they sell you cosmetics in a first person game, right? When you can't see your own, you can't see yourself, but it's a co-op game and you're like, oh, well, what do I look like? Right? Like you can't see yourself unless you go to the menu system and then you can see yourself. Like, but they do it. So
it's a mental thing though, because remember we talked about this exact thing when we played Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
Right. I looked at you and I said, "You look cool. What is that?" And you said, "I found a skin. It dropped from a guy."
Yeah.
Right. But I looked at you and it looks cool. So in my mind, I want the skin so somebody else can look at me and tell me that I look cool.
Right.
I can't see myself.
Right.
If you are trying to buy something for other people to say that you're cool and you can't see it, that's a psychological game though, guys.
Right.
That's what that is. I want a skin so I look cool for somebody else. Like I don't get to see it, but what's the point of it? Right. But that's the game, right? I'll look cool to somebody else. That's why I want it. Right now, instead of getting it for free, now you have to pay for it.
Right. So look, I'm not saying there's multiplayer in right now. I'm going to say they do the same kind of thing what they did with Fallout 76, right? Fallout 76 was multiplayer right from the start, but they didn't put human players in there until like a year later, right? Like 18 months later or whatever it was, right?
Because they said it was part of the lore, but we all know that was bullshit.
Right. They did it on purpose because they wanted to see how people would react with each other with other human players. Like everyone that was human is people that were from the vault. You come out of the vault and it was all part of the thing. But then they did it, right? I think in that same way, they look at the Star Citizen, how they monetize the ships. They look at other games that monetize stuff like that. And Bethesda wants to monetize their games. They've been forward about this ahead of time, right? ESO makes a crap ton of money, right? Off cosmetics, off extra storage. Fallout 76 does make some off of cosmetics and all this stuff. Redfall was supposed to have a cosmetic store. They took it out, right? They didn't even finish the game, but they took the store out, thank God.
Oh, okay. Thank God.
Right? And now you have Starfield. Starfield's going to be the biggest franchise on the Xbox store, okay? Most first-party titles have some sort of monetization structure, okay? Minecraft Dungeons is a smaller game, but it sold DLC off to the side. Then it now sells battle passes that have cosmetics in there. Okay, so they sell those. You have Forza Horizon that sells DLC, and they also sell cosmetics. You have Sea of Thieves, who sells season passes, and they also sell cosmetics. Right, all the first-party title type stuff from Xbox Studios and whatnot tries to put some sort of monetization. Now, I understand that Bethesda's not Xbox Studios. It's Bethesda making Starfield. But Todd himself says, we want people to interact and we can't go back. And that's why they made Skyrim Definitive Edition, so they could put the Creation Club in there and get people to pay for it and whatnot, because they couldn't monetize the people that already had the game. So 100% in my thinking, I think that they're going to have some sort of microtransaction store, either right out the bat, it's like DLC stuff, but I think down the road, they're going to make it multiplayer and then sell you cosmetics and whatnot.
There is no contradiction. It's 100% fact. Their whole testing center was Fallout 76 over the last 5 years. They know exactly what to change now, what to do. I'm telling you, it might not be initially, but Starfield will be the most monetized Bethesda game ever released.
I don't know. Right now, it's Fallout 76.
It just won't be initially that way.
Right.
Initially, it'll be like get everybody in and feeling good, and then we'll go from there.
Call of Duty right now, I don't have it as a story, but Call of Duty right now is implementing more microtransactions into their Tarkov style game mode, right? And it's been out for what, 6 months, and now they're implementing more microtransactions into the game, right? Once it's in, they're in the player base, so why wouldn't they? Right? Why wouldn't they?
Once they've established what the daily player count is and what the weekly player count is, and it's stable, then they can introduce what they want a little bit at a time and see how much it affects the player base. If they introduce something that pisses people off, they'll see the drop off, they might pull it out, but they already have the number that they have in the ecosystem. That's what they're looking for. This is a numbers game now, right? Once again, it is no longer about make a game, sell a game.
Real quick,
it is about how much we can get.
Real quick, Snake. You're saying maybe if Fallout 76 had been a success, they might not have been bought out. You think they got bought out because of Fallout 76 sucked? No. Fallout 76 has a concurrent player base of 600,000 people per month playing that game 4 years, 5 years after the fact. Okay? They're making money hand over fist. There's literally people, when the game was broke, they were paying for the gold server to get their own server space. Okay, because that game is making money hand over fist. Bethesda got bought out because Microsoft gave them a number that they liked, and that's why they sold. $7.2 billion is why they got bought out. No one's for sale until you're for sale. What's your number, right? And Bethesda's number was $7.2 billion, and that's what ZeniMax sold them off. They weren't in trouble. They could have made their games and continued on making their stuff, but Microsoft's like, we need games for our Game Pass, and we've already had contracts and stuff with Bethesda, so why don't we just buy them and make them part of Microsoft?
If anything, they probably saw them and said, "This is a great game that we can monetize. They can make another game like this for us." That's basically what it came down to, right? Because if Fallout 76 did that well,
right,
what's the next one they're going to make?
All right, so another story. This is like more of a quality of life on Xbox. So the Xbox May update is rolling out. And right now, Xbox gamer tags. Hold on a second. I gotta.
What's wrong with my gamer tag?
No, nothing's wrong with your gamer tag. So, you can view Xbox gamer tags now of your Discord friends. So when you're in Discord account and you link your Discord account to your Xbox, you can now join voice channels from your Discord servers directly from your Xbox console starting today, which was yesterday, and you'll be able to see the Xbox gamer tags of your Discord friends while you're connected to Discord voice from your Xbox, and this makes it a lot easier. So this is just something that's nice, right? Because now people
So wait. So if I have Discord on my Xbox and I click on
you just link it.
Discord,
You just link it. Yeah.
Is it like, what happens if I'm already in a party chat? Can I be in 2 party chats at the same time, and can I jump back and forth, or is it one or the other?
I haven't done it myself, but I'm pretty sure it would be like you have an Xbox party and then you would have a Discord party. So people in Discord, so if they join inside the Discord server, like on the PC or on the phone, they can join the party and start talking. So everything's connected now. So if you link your Discord,
when the show ends, I want to try it. I want to see if I could be in a party than be in Discord.
Yeah,
I want to try it.
It would work out better for me with Discord. We don't know what the audio quality is. I'll have to check that out. But yeah. Oh, I didn't forget Kuda Papa about ESO. I said it earlier that they're making tons of money with with cosmetics and stuff in that game, and also the DLCs and everything else. It's monetized very much. So yeah. So just a quality of life Discord, and I think the Discord also is going to be doing that on PlayStation. I think if it already does it on PlayStation as well, if I'm not mistaken. Another news, Plague Tale Requiem Performance Mode, it just came out. So it came out and it was at 30 frames per second. It wasn't running. It was one of the games that was getting crapped on because it came out and it wasn't running smooth. The rats and everything that was happening on the screen, it was like, this is unplayable for some people. Not saying it's a bad game in any way, shape, or form. Just when it came out, it wasn't optimized. So now they have a performance mode, 60 frames per second mode for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, as well as additional graphic options for PC. So that's a quick story right there. Another one is the the PlayStation Plus Collection Library shuts down. Shuts down today, which was on the 9th. Today is the 11th. So players only had a matter of hours to redeem the PlayStation 4 games before the offer ends. Players can still redeem the games before the service was removed. At this point, it's already obsolete. I think you're too late from the story. But the games that it says the PlayStation Plus collection originally included 20 games, 10 first-party title games, 10 third-party title games. Persona 5 was removed on May 22nd. But the 19 remaining games that were on PlayStation Plus were Batman Arkham, Battlefield 1, Bloodborne, Call of Duty Ops 3, Crash Bandicoot, Days Gone, Detroit Become Human, God of War, Fallout 4, Final Fantasy 15, Infamous, The Last Guardian, The Last of Us Remastered, Monster Hunter World, Mortal Kombat X, Ratchet & Clank, Resident Evil 7, Uncharted 4, and Until Dawn. So those are all the things that you, if you guys already had it and you're on PlayStation and you didn't know about this, it's too late. But if you did know about it, you can still get those games.
If you were a PlayStation person, you were paying attention.
Yeah. So, the next thing I want to talk about, Sarge, is these two stories came out this week, and I thought this was interesting. So Blizzard is doing a patent, okay? They're doing a patent, and it clarifies the AI after a patent surfaces, okay? Now, the patent that surfaces for this is that Blizzard has devised a patent for a new system involving graphic AI generation, with the set to make it easier for developers to create art and will help to flesh out the worlds in their games. The text in this patent is very complex, but explaining it the straightforward way, it's a system to teach the machine specific art styles via the emulations of images, and also already exist. It uses the initial input, automatically generates a structure image, then it transfers the models taught to the machine to the image, gathering the textures. Finally, they're combined with a moderate amount of detail, and this would greatly save time and labor when devising sprawling virtual worlds. Okay, now obviously this is what it's showing you in the patent. It says input image and then target image, input image, target image. It says what makes the technology controversial, however, is the systems that operate via machines learning often use other art in their training models. So Blizzard would need to use real-life artwork to train its model at the moment. There's a huge debate on how much of this is actually legal in the material used in the training of the copyrighted. So it's not unrealistic to expect more discussions surrounding this technology in the future, as many diminished jobs will have to legal consequences, right? So it's saying that, if you're making a game about Picasso and you take all Picasso's pictures and put them in the thing, they're all copyrighted, right? So you can't use Picasso's pictures, but you can feed it in and say, I want to do a style of a game like Picasso, right?
Right. No
Right.
problem. No
So
problem.
so from this though, and then I want to show you this next thing, which is this AI. Where is it? Okay. So this is AI that's being procedurally generated. Now, mind you that the quality of it's not the best because it's coming off of this. I'll try to show you some more of it a little bit in a little bit, right? But
It's day one, dude.
this is procedurally generated game. This is all created by ChatGPT, okay? By AI making these open world, procedurally generated worlds. And now I know people are looking at this going, it looks like crap, right? But this is day one,
Day
right?
one.
So in this
is
video,
day one.
in this video, he says create desert planet, create dystopian planet, create red plateau, create trees, create plant wood, and this is what it does. It just creates this stuff. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is what I was talking about just a couple of months ago. I was talking about exponentially faster that the computer program is what's going to do, right? It's doing dynamic real-time lighting with Lumen, right? Explore, expand, right? So what people were, with hundreds, if not thousands of people were doing, okay, what they were doing by themselves in a studio now, one person can take an extremely huge chunk of change off of their time that would make it to make a video game, right?
Yeah.
So an AI platform generated 3D worlds in Unreal from text prompts. A new AI platform claims that the generated worlds in seconds that are fit for AAA video game development, but some are skeptical, right? And there's a lot of people talking about this, saying that this will never happen. This is you're always going to need somebody. You're always okay. So the applications and tools powered by artificial intelligence have a soar of popularity in recent months. All right, let me go down to the third paragraph. That's usually where the start. It says Loveland Studios posted an announcement video in its Twitter account and revealed that Nyric is in development AI platform that can build the world of your dreams in seconds. The video opens up with a sentence: "Create winter alien forest," being typed before instantly cutting into a view of the lead to believe that the AI subsequently generated it. Generatic, low resolution textures, okay, make up the rest of the presentation, showcasing a few Unreal Engine tools that are employed. Okay. Paul Tassi from Forbes video game and television writer questioned the authenticity of the project, aiming that the AAA game development from Twitter account with barely a few hundred followers, also only a couple of tweets, and the account was created in January 2021, which suggests it previously unused or the history was recently wiped. Developers replied to the video and have pointed out the issues similar to those faced by artists. Whatever the AI generation would not only originate nor handcrafted, and the players will also almost certainly be able to tell, even if they could not practice what would initially be troubling, right? So this is the blurry line with this, Sarge. Just like the patent
it's not that blurry.
Well, no, what I'm saying is what the patent is for Blizzard did, and
what they're trying to squeeze in to try to capture what they say that they can do and trying to patent it. I find it very hard to believe that they're going to be able to patent the idea that they're thinking of, right? What I do think is interesting though is the fact that, let's just say you send out a recon team, right? And you send them into like Utah, and they take pictures of all the plants,
right,
all the rocks, and then just download the photos into the ChatGPT or whatever the AI program
they make the AI program learn those pictures.
They took a picture of a tree in the wild. Now it takes that tree, right, and it uses it in the game, and it does different versions of that tree, so it doesn't look like the same tree over and over again. But you can set up a whole area just based on photographs and things that you take, instead of having some guy try to draw a fucking tree. Right? He's got to draw 85 rocks. He doesn't have to draw 85 rocks now. He just takes pictures of some rocks and downloads the photos into the computer, and the computer just takes the rocks and changes them to whatever they need.
Right. It learns what rocks are and trees are.
What did I say a couple months ago? What did I say that AI was going to do? It was going to speed up the process for developers to build the basics of the world that they need to be in. If let's say you had like a little cityscape, you tell the AI, you say, listen, I need a quarter mile by quarter mile cityscape with these attributes in it, right? You put the information you have in, you put the actual things that you told it to say into the database, and then it takes what you have and turns it into what you need. How do you think that this is not going to be a thing? Number one. And number two, how do you think you're going to patent that?
Right.
I don't think you can patent that. The ability for you to feed information to an AI so it renders the worlds that you need or the little playground that you need is going to be something standard in the industry in probably 6 months, right? I'll give it 6 months. Christmas time. Someone's going to come out with some crazy ass game.
Yeah, the exponentially how fast this is. I understand what people are worried about. Like right now, people are worried, and this is why the writer's strike is happening.
Yes, Sean. Yes,
right.
years. Right. It could take years off of development. Yeah, absolutely, it could. Yeah. Absolutely.
So people right now are striking in the Hollywood because of the writer's strike, because of ChatGPT and what the automated process and who takes it, who gets credit for the copyright and whatnot, because it was written by a robot, right, by AI. So I can see where their problem is with this, but this is just a test. So when someone looks at this and says that these graphics look terrible, this doesn't look like a AAA game.
This
like,
is day one.
Right. This is literally a couple weeks old, months old, and they're trying to figure
out. On its first day, the AI made Fortnite. Is what it looks like. A cheesy ass version of Fortnite. It made that on day one.
Right, by itself.
What do you think it's going to do by day 300?
Right, by itself. Right. So
you guys have no concept.
It'll be really interesting. It'll be really interesting to see, because if you could teach ChatGPT to use Unreal Engine 5 and then it learns,
right,
and then everything that people implement into the thing, it just eats it up, and then it makes references of it and then changes it, and it can make it. I mean, look at what Unreal Engine is doing with the procedurally generated, what they showed a couple of months ago, right? When it procedurally generates the map, and now ChatGPT is procedurally generating a brand new map all the time.
It's going to be a cross between the machine from Superman 3, where you just feed it whatever information you want and it just uses it, right? That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, but Krebsy, you're scanning stuff in, but what it's doing now, this is why they're having problems, right? This is why people are saying, all of Google, everyone submitted Google images. The computer's taking from Google Images now. So people that are copyrighted and own pictures, it's taking those pictures and using those as its reference, okay? So it's cheating, basically, right? It's cheating because before, like if DICE was making Battlefield, they would have to go get the gun and take pictures of that gun and then submit it in and then do the references and do the artwork and stuff in their game. Now ChatGPT is going, AK-47? It's going into Google and going, here's some pictures of AK-47s that we use, and they use that to model it off of other people's pictures that are copyrighted or owned, okay? So that's the issue, right? And how are you going to stop that from happening? Because you're not going to know what pictures it used. It's using the entire internet all at once, right?
It just mismatches. It mismatches them together. It's not using the exact photo.
Right.
It's not okay. It's not taking the tree from outside your house and putting it everywhere. Right. It's taking the tree that you took a photo of and using the structure of it and doing different versions of it and putting it everywhere. How do you identify that's your picture?
Right.
How do you identify it's yours? As a matter of fact, if I drew a picture, put my name on it, and I'm a great artist. I made a fucking oak tree that I saw in Oregon when I was 12. I drew it by hand. It's my photo. I put my name on it, and then I feed it into the damn computer. And it takes a version of the tree, smashes it up, and goes everywhere. What am I going to do? Identify my fucking photo? Right? Please.
Yeah, it's crazy. Tempest says, "I'm sorry, I can't use that photograph, Dave."
No shot. No shot.
Does Google own the cat photo of Bob's grandmother's Facebook account? If you take a picture and I submit it onto Google or any website, I own that picture. Technically, if someone I see uses my picture in a meme, I could sue because they're using my picture. I own that picture. I own the rights to that picture. If someone uses that picture and monetizes that picture, I can sue them to use that picture. Yes. Okay. 100%. All right.
Listen, the lack of understanding is that AI is going to exponentially push the industry forward. Nobody's going to be able to keep up with what is happening. Never mind the legal bodies involved to come up with any kind of law structure because they don't know anything about it. They don't even understand basic computer stuff from Twitter and Google. You can't expect lawmakers to figure out anything right now about what ChatGPT and AI is going to do to the industry in the next year. Never mind the next 5 years. So I think we're going to end up with some kind of crazy Wild West of just people just
Sure.
making whatever it can to see what it can do. And then we're going to settle on somebody finally making an engine of AI, like Unreal Engine. There's an engine that's the AI engine, whatever name they give it. I guarantee you some idiot will call it Skynet.
Right.
I'm sure they would, right? Just to be funny, but they would do it, right? But what, listen, once again, I don't want to go quick, get off on the tangent. Once again, if you're able to get AI to create a map for you that is directly related to the story you want to tell, and I don't have to pay 10 guys to put out a fucking map in a year, and it does it in less than a week, do you think as a business I would do that? The answer is yes. Yes, I would. Yeah. If I could save labor and give the job to a damn computer and it does just as good a job, why wouldn't I?
Or
right? That's the issue.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
George says, does this solve the bad game problem or create more bad games? I think it creates more bad games. Because
the bad game will be noticed right away because you wouldn't have to wait 5 years and then an 18-month difference for a fix. You would know the game is bad in the first year.
Yeah, I think what happens, though, now is, let's say there's, and again, I'm just doing generalistic numbers. Let's say there's 100 developers that are all working on the layout of the map. Well, now the map is being made by AI. So those, 1,000 people that are working on the AI or the map are now moved over to checking the code to see if the AI did it correctly and clean up the imperfections that it did, because it did it in seconds, right? So now they're going to have people checking proofreading or proof checking the code that's doing to see if it works. Because there's been games in the past made by human error that they forgot to close the colon and it broke the entire game, right? Like that's a thing.
But if you tell, but once again, the computer is programmed. The AI is programmed. You're giving it the information. If you say this is X, this is Y, these are the parameters, you can't have a Z, make sure check A, B, like that kind of stuff. Like the basic programming language, and you give it the AI and you give it all the photos. You just tell it no clipping, no this. Define what clipping is. You tell it what clipping is. It says no clipping. So now it does no clipping. Like, you don't understand what this will do to gaming. You'll have games shooting out of development studios 3 or 4 times a year. There'll be shitty games at first, but that needs some place to test it.
Yeah, no,
that's what this is.
It's definitely gonna make gaming a lot more. I don't want to say competitive.
Less labor, charge more. Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see the next couple. I would say in the next 2 years, in the next 2 years.
He's got the right. Sean's got it. Mobile for sure.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Because here's the thing. There's people that don't know anything about gaming, but they really like money, right? And someone goes, dude, I heard Ted, he was making a game. What about this AI stuff? Can I make a game? And people are going to learn to use the AI to make the game they're going to do, and they're going to throw it up on an app store, right? And they'll make a mobile game that goes out and sells 100 copies, but it makes money because they didn't spend $50,000 making it. They just made it through ChatGPT, and they're like, yeah, it's running. I made a starship that goes back and forth the thing and shoots the thing. All right, let's throw it up on the App Store. Right? There's going to be a lot of people experimenting with a lot of stuff, and it all depends if the AI is cognitive, because there is AI. I forget what the wordage is, but there is AI that learns, okay, and then makes the changes like an actual brain, okay? And then there's just the AI that's taking images and stuff, and it's not really learning, but it's just making changes based on what you're feeding it, where there's AI that is cognitive, that actually can make changes on the fly like a human. And that's where it gets a little scary with stuff like this. But we'll see what happens with the video game industry, with the AI, the way it's making stuff. So in other news,
it made Fortnite in a week.
It probably in less than that, Sarge.
Right. It made Fortnite in like a day. What do you think it's going to do in a year?
Right. Kylo Green says there's about to be companies that are going to stray away from AI and be like, this game was built by humans for humans. Right. Sort of like the food, right? GMO, right? Cage-free eggs. Like, it's going to be like made in the USA. It'll be like made by humans. I think you're right, Kylo. I think that's exactly what it'd be, right? This game was made in the USA by humans. Everyone's like, oh, a human game. Yeah,
that will 100% be an advertisement.
Yeah,
100%.
Yep. I think you're onto something there. Yeah. So the next segment is by the numbers, right? By the numbers. So Horizon Forbidden West has sold over 8.4 million units worldwide. Congratulations to them. Capcom has confirmed record numbers of game sales as share prices hit an all-time high. Okay, so the company achieved a record sales figure partly with the release of 2 titles in this flagship series, Resident Evil 4, which released a week before the end of the reporting period of March of 2023, and Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, which sold 3.75 million and 5.45 million units. However, the vast majority of the sales came from a catalog of titles which Capcom defines as games released in previous fiscal year. These sales, which were mostly made up of titles of Monster Hunter, Resident Evil, Devil May Cry series, reached 29.3 million units, exceeding 24 million units in the previous fiscal year. So Monster Hunter made 545. I don't know
a new one
by thousands. Yeah, Sunbreaker 545 by, it says 10,000 units. So that's 5.4 mil. Resident Evil sold 3.7. Monster Hunter Rise 3.7, Resident Evil 2 2.2, Resident Evil 3 1.9, and Resident Evil 7 Biohazard 1.2. So Capcom said 12.4 million in sales was made up in new titles, and the company released 35 new SKUs in the fiscal year of 23, including Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, Resident Evil Village Gold Edition, Monster Hunter Rise Deluxe Edition, Capcom Arcade Second Stadium, and Capcom Fighting Collection. 89.4 of the game sales during the 12-month were digital. 89. So 90% of the games were digital. 37.3 million and 19.7 were sold in the native Japan for 8.2 million. And other than Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak and Resident Evil 4, the company's top-selling titles during the fiscal year were Monster Hunter Rise 3.7 mil, Resident Evil 2 2.25, and Resident Evil 3 1.9. So lots of numbers there for you. Other numbers. By the numbers, Nintendo Switch sales are down overall 22% year over year, but the OLED models are up 59%. While Switch sales have peaked and will continue to decline, there's clearly demand for better hardware here, and Nintendo now said there's no new hardware for 2023, so the eye is now on to 2024. And Grand Theft Auto 6 is reportedly set to be the most expensive game of all time, which would surpass Star Citizen, and the game will cost between, and they're just assuming here, between $1 and $2 billion. Okay, so going off that, Sarge, I did some research, and every Grand Theft Auto that's come out since Vice City, I believe. Okay, so let's say Vice City cost $100 million. Okay, I don't know, I'm just giving you a number. Let's say it cost $100 million at the time. It made all of its money back within the first day. Okay. And then Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, let's say it cost $500 million. It made all its money back in one day. Okay. It did basically what Cyberpunk is doing. What Cyberpunk made all its money back on pre-sales. Okay.
That's right.
So Grand Theft Auto is between $1 billion and $2 billion, and it will make its money back, Sarge, probably in the first day.
All right. Well, hang on. Let's be generous. Right, I'm gonna give you. Hang on. Let's be generous.
Kylo Green says, "I can't imagine the sales for GTA 6. It's going to bring.
Oh,
it's going to be unreal."
I'm gonna say I'll say 1.5 billion. Right, so that's
go halfway.
Yeah, hang on. That's 150 mil.
It's been 8 years since they came out.
1.5 billion. Let's just call it a $70 game.
Well, it will be a $70 game, 100%. Right?
So you would have to sell roughly 21.5 million copies. Easy. I think for sure, yeah.
Easy.
If it's across all platforms, absolutely.
Yeah. I think it will sell
22 million, roughly 22 million games that have to sell in order to get its money back for $1.5 billion development costs.
Look,
I think that's completely plausible for Grand Theft Auto.
Look, Hogwarts Legacy, here's another story, right? Hogwarts Legacy didn't cost $1 billion, okay? And Warner Brothers executives Hogwarts Legacy sold 15 million units and made over $1 billion in less than 2 months, okay? Or February, March, 3 months. Okay, it sold 15 million, and now it just released on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and it's gonna release on the Switch soon. It's gonna sell 30 million copies total between all the systems. Easy. Nintendo, Zelda, that's gonna sell 25 to 30 million copies. Okay, Grand Theft Auto is like, you want us to hit $2 billion? Not a problem.
Before the microtransaction.
That's before the online world.
Yes.
That's just the copy
start.
of the game that's selling for the single player game. 100%. Yeah.
Yep. What's the anniversary of Grand Theft Auto?
What do you mean? What's the anniversary?
Like the first Grand Theft Auto. When did it come out? The first one, the top down one. When did that come out?
Oh, like the original Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah.
GTA
The original game.
release date. No, what's the original Grand Theft Auto Wikipedia? 1997, I think.
Yeah, I'm getting November of 97, right?
Yeah,
so think about
97.
it. So think about it. So when do you think GTA 6 comes out officially?
I mean, 97 to 2007 is 10. 2007 2017 is 20. 21, 22, 23, 24. It's coming out next year.
You think it's coming out next year? 25th anniversary, right?
Yeah, it's coming out next year.
Yeah. So if we say no because it's too big because they're doing a lot of stuff, right? You say definitively 2027. Definitively.
That would be the 30-year anniversary.
That would be the 30-year anniversary.
Yeah. Kylo Green, thank you very much for the membership. Appreciate that.
But if they all have their cylinders firing and they've been in development this entire time, I think next year is completely plausible.
Becoming a member. Yeah, I think October of 2024.
Yep, that would be 25 years.
Yeah, I would say sometime October. Yeah. Sometime they usually September, October. Yep. Obviously, we're all guessing.
Yeah, we're guessing.
Yeah, and what do you think it'll sell?
What do you mean? What do I think it would sell?
What do you think it sells pre-orders?
Oh, pre-orders?
Pre-orders.
Everybody in the world is probably going to
right now. The number one selling pre-order game before
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk was 8 million, but I think PUBG was 30 million. But that's at a $30 game.
That's okay. This is gonna be a $70. This is gonna be a
$70 game.
A $70 digital game.
I think it sells 15 million copies pre-order. Easy.
But you'll never know. You'll never know though.
Oh, they'll tell us after. We'll know way after. They'll tell us. Yeah.
What do you mean you'll never get it, Travis? What do you mean you'll never get it? Even if it comes on PlayStation, you're getting that game. So let's not be crazy, Travis. If Grand Theft Auto is on PlayStation, you're getting the damn game. But don't even start.
Yeah, well, I think we've speculated this on a lot with the Grand Theft Auto. It's going to have Grand Theft Auto World, Universe, something. It's going to be the online thing.
It'll be the quintessential games live service.
They've already locked down on role playing stuff. There's rumors about their own role playing service type thing in the background that's going to happen there. This is going to be the biggest selling single handedly game.
Probably.
Yeah,
of all time.
And I don't think anyone buys them. I know people want like Sony or Xbox to buy Take-Two. Grand Theft Auto wants to be on all systems, because if it's not on all systems, it doesn't reach that goal of the greatest game ever created. You know what I'm saying? Like money wise.
Yep.
Krebsy says November 19th ish, 2024. I didn't even think about this, Sarge. Was in Keeley Fest. Was Take-Two on that list?
Is Take-Two on the list?
Was Take-Two on that list, chat? I'm looking. I don't see Take-Two there.
Here's the difference
but
between
Xbox. Well, I'm sorry. Grand Theft Auto doesn't ever really announce stuff like that at these. That's
my point. Yeah. Grand Theft Rockstar doesn't say shit to nobody, and there's no leaks. They must have like Pinkerton guys on hold at Rockstar. If anyone opens their mouth, they get a bag over the head and they disappear, because for some unknown reason, you don't hear anything
right
from Rockstar. surprised, isn't it? Is anyone surprised that there's no leaked information?
Oh, there was.
No oopsies.
Oh, there was.
No oopsies. Yeah, was there?
Yeah, there was that whole thing that was leaked, but nothing ever happened of it. They said they were going to press charges, but they never did.
Yeah. That's because the guy disappeared. The guy disappeared. That's exactly why.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah. What shitloads, Krebs? What do we got? What information do you have? The water.
Yeah, there was there was the water, there was the character, there was like 45 minutes. Yeah, we did a whole show on it, Sarge. Sarge forgets about a lot of stuff.
I didn't forget about it. I called it bullshit, is what I called it. I called it bullshit. It was a fake leak in order to cause a leak. Rockstar has none.
Right.
Rockstar has none. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Next thing I want to talk about. The fake leaks, yeah, they looked fake. They looked fake.
I'm showing you water. This is what the water is going to look like in GTA. Like, come on, bro. Really? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So the next one is Redfall. Sarge has found a player base at launch at Xbox despite the poor reviews.
And the goth kids from South Park.
Now Redfall has faced a lot of criticism, right? We know this. It was number 12. On all of game sales on Xbox, okay, and PC. And it was number 2 on Game Pass. Now, on the morning stream a couple days ago, I turned on the game, or turned on the Xbox, and went to the achievement list, and we went down a list, and we looked at it, like the first neighborhood. It's the second most played game on Game Pass, Sarge, but yet 3%
week.
For 2 weeks now. For 2 weeks since it launched, it's been number 2, or in the top 10 now, whatever it is. Okay, but yet the numbers don't really show that it's that popular, right? And here's the thing: we talked about this in depth, right? We're missing an equation here, right? Because we see these numbers, and then we look at the numbers there, but we don't know the equation of how actually many people played the actual game. Okay, we're just taking a rut. Well, it's number 2. Number 1 could be 100 people playing the game, and this one's like number 2 with 80 people playing the game, right? But the achievement list looks so sad and pathetic that less than 0.5% have made it to the second map, Sarge. Less than 0.5% have made it to the second map. 3% have completed, or a little less than 3% have completed the first map in Redfall, right? So, like, these numbers that they say that they found a player base. Like, what are we talking about here?
Well, let's be generous, right? How many people have Game Pass? You said 25 million, right? You said 25 million people have Game Pass?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's be generous, right? Now, because you have Game Pass, you're going to try it out, right? So let's say 20%. 20% of the 25 million is 5 million, right? So 5 million people actually tried it.
Out of 25 million people that had Game Pass, that's terrible.
Hang on, 5 million people, and let's say 3%.
Right.
3%. That's 150,000 people got to the second map. That seems very plausible.
Out of
150,000
people. Potential 25 million people that own Game Pass.
Not everybody likes those kind of games. I gave you a good chunk. I gave you 20%. So what they said, they found their audience. So 150,000 people who played Redfall went to the second map. That sounds plausible. 150,000.
Right, Creature says, so 25 million people wanted to see if it was a bad, and everybody said it was and found out, so they moved on. Melrose says, was Redfall the fastest uninstalled?
Yeah,
I think it was.
Because remember, they're counting people who downloaded it, right? That's their number, right? They say that 3% of people have made it. Okay, well, 3% of what number? Because if it's actually people who played the game, then the percentage would be higher. But they're counting everybody who downloaded it.
You had to at least turn it on, right?
Everybody had tried it, right?
It can't automatically include everyone that has Game Pass. It's got to be people that like actually downloaded it.
It's got to be someone that downloaded it. It's got to be. Otherwise, the number would be much higher.
Right.
The number would be much higher. It's still hilarious though, because you're never going to know the real numbers because they decide what metrics they're going to tell you. right? It's the number one, it's the number 2 selling game from when? This past week. Well, what games were out this past week? Like, what games are you counting? Are you counting new games? Is it the number 3 game of new games that came out for the week? Because Game Pass thing changes every so often. Are you counting all the games? Like, you're not giving me the box of numbers that I'm supposed to look at. You just start screaming out stuff. It's the number 2 game last week. In the last couple weeks, it's the number 2 game downloaded. Like, okay, based on what other games are you talking about, right? There might be people downloading hockey right now. Right. And Redfall's the number 3 game next to hockey. Like, okay, that makes sense. But you just can't scream out numbers and expect me to get excited for you. It's the number 2 game ever. It's like listening to the movies like it's the number 1 movie in America. Yeah, nothing released the last couple weeks and everything else is garbage. Of course, it's the number 1 movie in America.
The only games that came out to Game Pass that I can tell, I mean, higher end tier games. Right, we had MLB The Show come on to Game Pass. High Five Rush came out in like January in Game Pass. There was Benedict Fox and stuff like that, but those are like independent games, like indie games. Like Redfall was supposed to be this like AAA game, and like it's just sad. You look at the achievement list, and it's just like I felt like it's like Marvel's Avengers, right? Everyone's like.
Hey, who's killed 5 vampires? You got that achievement on there? Right, like, is there one on there like that?
Use a stake.
Right. If it says but those are the ones you have to look for. If it says killed 10 vampires and it says 1% of people did this, that's a problem. You can't tell me that anybody's playing this game.
Right. Like unlock the first safe house. It's like 2%. Like it's like that's a mission. That's like a mission. What do you mean?
Right. That's how you know the game's bad. Right, the number should be at least 20% of people or 30% of people. It has to be, but they're not playing it.
Yeah, but Viking High on Life came out last year. Like what was it, like November, December?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah,
their metrics are always screwed up. I can't trust.
I just find it funny that the Game Pass just hides the numbers. They're never going to be honest to what they've actually did unless the game is successful. Like if Starfield comes out and 20 million people play it on Game Pass, they will let you know 20 million people played it. But if 5 million people play it, but they put 100 hours each, they're going to tell you that they got 5.
It's the most played game in the last week.
They'll change the wordage based on whatever it sounds like the biggest numbers, right? Because they won't tell you how many people played the game. They'll be like, well, we had 400 million hours. But like, you know what I mean? It's just stupid. Anyway. Moving on to the next story. We got 2 stories that I want to cover before we go to the Q&A. According to journalist Jez Corden, he heard from a source that Sony has entered into an agreement with Konami to limit Metal Gear, Silent Hill, and possibly Castlevania for PlayStation. What do you think, Sarge? Do you think this is obviously it's a good move for Sony if they could get these, not buying the company, but signing a deal with them, sort of like Final Fantasy and everything else they've done to put just exclusive on PlayStation.
So it's okay to make deals to have games exclusive only on your system. That's completely cool still.
Right. I guess.
Is that okay when PlayStation does it? Is it okay when PlayStation makes deals to have exclusivity only for their system? That's cool, right?
Well,
but not the other way around.
Right, Sarge.
Because is that how we have to look at this now?
Right. Because if Microsoft was the leader in cloud gaming, and they had the number 1 game come onto cloud gaming, but because they're at 60-70%, they can't do it. But because Sony's at 40% of the industry, they're allowed to
make the deals,
to make those deals because they
It's not
because
the
percentage is different. Right.
Right. I got it. Yeah. So I got it now. Microsoft doing exclusive deals with companies, no bueno. PlayStation do exclusive deals with companies, completely cool. I got it. Right. We're all good.
Right.
I'm with you now.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's almost like we don't have a story. We didn't bring the story up, but I want to bring it up. When Xbox closes a studio down, it's Xbox's. See what they do to studios. When Sony closes a studio down, it's just a small studio. It's not a big deal.
Small studio, no big deal.
No big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. It almost sounds very familiar to other things that are going on in the world. When one side does it, it's completely cool. When the other side does it, it's a fucking travesty. Yeah. It sounds familiar. It does sound familiar.
A studio only has 24 people. It's not a big deal. So,
yeah. Well, they couldn't move those guys into a different studio.
Well, they're still up in the air. They don't know yet. They don't know.
Right.
They don't know if they're going to bleed them into the next thing, but they're closing that studio down.
Yeah. Every time you say that, though, I hear Dave Chappelle. I'm closing the studio down. You guys just can't hack it. I'm closing the studio down, but I'll keep the studio open if you guys get me a sugar cookie. Like, that's all I hear. Every time you say the studio closed down, I hear Dave Chappelle from season 2. That's all I keep hearing. And if you never watched Chappelle's show season 2, you guys need to go watch Dave Chappelle's season 2 of Chappelle's show.
All right, the last story I want to talk about.
Best TV ever.
The last story I want to talk about is Fortnite is now officially an Olympic esport, Sarge. Okay, Fortnite's an Olympic esport. So parents no longer have a leg to stand on when they're telling their kids that get off Fortnite because it now becomes a legitimate way to earn an Olympic gold medal. The International Olympic Committee has today announced that Battle Royale game will be a part of the Olympic Esports Week next month, held in Singapore as part of a new sports shooting section. A custom island will be built, has been created inside Fortnite to be used in the Olympic tournament, and 12 players from 2023's Fortnite Championship Series are invited to compete. A special designed Fortnite creative island made to reflect the sports shooting competition will put on the target aiming accuracy for sharpshooters and test to see to navigate the game environment as they compete in the Olympic Esports Series winner. Now, I know this sounds like no big deal, right? But this is huge for gaming, right? This is huge, right? This is not the first attempt to have games in the Olympic sport, but this is huge for gaming as far as like this is legit, right? This is legit where Fortnite is now an Olympic sport, not the actual battle royale mode where they're building, right? But they built an island for the Olympics. And there's going to be sharpshooters having a competition a month from now.
Well, I guess it's okay now. The fat kids in chairs now are Olympians. It's official.
I mean, if you can watch ESPN with fat guys throwing darts or fat guys throwing bocce balls or fat guys doing anything else, what's the difference?
We're not talking about fat guys. We're talking about fat kids in chairs.
All right.
That's what we're talking about now. And by the way, I saw that dart competition. Those two guys, I think one's from Ireland, one was from Scotland. They had a 9 dart game. They basically closed out with 9 darts to both of them. It was the most insane. I know no one cares about darts, right? But that's amazing. They each threw 9 darts and closed out the game, and they tied. That's the most ridiculous darts. You know how insane dart thrower you have to be to both of you get 9 darts and go out. Come on, man, that's insanity. That's like the guy. That's like the guy being the superpower where he throws darts at people and kills them. Like it's a superpower, but he can actually do it. He's so good at darts. I can aim and hit the number I want to hit. That's insane, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Kylo. Exactly. You try closing out a game with 9 darts. Let me know when you do it.
Right. Well, under the pressure of winning, the competition as well.
Drink a pint, 9 dart you. Drink a pint, 9 dart you. I'm blindfolded. Drink a pint. I'm 9 darting you. Like, come on, kids. That's impressive.
Stories we didn't get to is PlayStation's live service games will not be like Fortnite or Destiny. They're not going to make 10 Destinies or 10 Fortnites, is what they said.
Oh, so they're announcing it to make sure no one panics.
And then Bungie's next IP might ditch the Tiger engine for something new. And then there's a posting that they're going to be hiring people to use the Unreal Engine. So, and then Call of Duty, exclusive Call of Duty 2023 named Modern Warfare 3. Supposedly they're going to be for Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. Several sources have said that the mode, essentially an Outbreak 2.0, is understood that Activision is currently weighing its possibilities. Will Modern Warfare 3 fully fledged battle royale map? It's understood that the map will launch during Season 1, which is currently penciled in to launch at the beginning of December. And then on top of that, for Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, several sources have said that the mode, essentially Outbreak 2.0, understood that Activision is currently weighed its possibilities of the mode and be part of the premium title or not, but it also makes sense for the mode to be free-to-play experience. So remember, Call of Duty wasn't supposed to have a game every year.
That's correct. They were waiting.
Yeah, and now they're having a game every year.
They waited a year, didn't they? Nothing came out last year, right?
Oh yeah, the game came out.
That was 2 years ago, wasn't it?
It just came out. Yeah, it just came out.
Oh, then they're lying again. They say we're not going to release Call of Duty every year, but we're going to make the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, and it's going to have everything. It's going to have a campaign. It's going to have zombies. It's going to have. So basically, you're trying to go back to your roots by releasing a game every year.
Right. Yeah, Modern Warfare 2 was it just came out. It came out in November.
I lose track of time, guys. I lose track of time. Look, it could have been a year. I don't know. I don't pay attention anymore. It's crazy. I live in Florida. Every day is the same, right? They tell me it's winter. I don't know. I see a Christmas tree and I go, "Hey, it's Christmas." I don't. Otherwise, it's the weather's the same all the time. I don't know.
It's true.
I don't know.
That is Florida weather.
But if you told me Modern Warfare 2 was released in 2021, I'd be like, yeah, okay. If you said it was released in December of last year, I'd be like, was it? Like but they told me they weren't releasing every year, right? Wasn't that a giant speech? We realize that the game has been saturated. We're not going to release it every year, but we're releasing it every year. Okay.
All right.
Lose track.
We're at the point of the show where we do the Q&A. If you have a question for us for any of the topics that we did or just a question in general for us, you can submit it. Doesn't mean we'll read it, but you can submit it. Quintar, thank you very much for the gifted memberships. And then earlier in the show, I think we had YouTube Lurker and Stealth both becoming members again, so I do appreciate that as well. So we're going to go to the Q&A part of the show. Travis is the first one. If you guys have a submitted question, you can click the button up on top where it says submit your question here, and then it'll pop in. Doesn't mean I'm going to read them. If it's not a question, I probably won't read them. Travis comes up and says, are we getting to where game developers are like politicians, where if they say something or promise something, we should just assume they won't deliver?
Yes.
I want to say no.
Let the game decide.
Yeah.
You let your work do the talking for you.
Yeah. It all depends on what if you're saying like game companies like EA, like Andrew Wilson, then yes. But if you're saying like a small independent company or a AA company, I'm going to say no. But if you're talking about AAA standards, Travis, yeah. I'm not gonna believe anything they say until I see it in my hand. And even then, when you have it in your hand and you put it in your Xbox or PlayStation, it's still not fixed. It's still not a working game. So it's a little weird. If you guys are in the chat, make sure you opt in to be gifted memberships. Quintar gifted 5 memberships, and no one's claimed them yet. So make sure you opt in for it. The next question. Did you want to add to that, Sarge, about that they're?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Listen, I don't
want to talk about it. He's going to talk about it.
From now on, I let the game speak. I don't listen to the guy in charge. I'm not listening to any development circles. I let the game do the talking. I don't hear you anymore. I don't hear the jibber jabber, and I don't hear the promises anymore. I just don't.
Melrose, thank you very much for the 2 months. Krebsy Gaming says, what will the first form of microtransactions add to Starfield through the mod thing? I mean, it's either like, are you asking like what microtransactions like astronaut skins or like spaceship skins? Is that what you're asking? Or are you asking for like storage or stuff like that? Is that what you're asking, Krebsy?
What the first microtransactions are going to be?
Yeah, what will the first form of microtransactions be added to Starfield through the mod thing?
The game's going to be grindy. Time savers will be number 1. Time savers will be number 1, and cosmetics for your ship and uniform will be number 2.
It can't be fuel because remember, there's no fuel for the ships.
I'm not saying fuel.
I know it's a joke.
The way your ship looks and the way your uniform looks, and time savers. So cosmetics. And time saver. This game's gonna be grindy, bro. Game's gonna be grindy. The story's gonna be cool. It's gonna be interesting, but to unlock whatever you need to unlock, it's gonna be grindy.
Yeah, you have
time savers.
Oh, you know what? Maybe
time savers.
And I think it would be like the astronaut outfits. Will be a gun, a map, a storage expansion. I think it'll be like your spaceship. I think they're going to show your spaceship to look cooler or whatnot. It'll be cosmetics for your spaceship or cosmetics for your guns or whatever. I think that's will be the first microtransactions. Krebsy Gaming for the next question. He says, if you could have 2 brands collaborate for a project, which 2 would they be? And if those 2 brands fought to the death, who would win?
Which brand are we talking about? Any brand?
Any game, or I actually, it's not a game.
Developer.
He just said brands.
Two brands.
Two brands. Brands. Okay. Elaborate on a project. Which could it be? And then two brands fought it out to the death.
Is it video game brands or any brand? Because I actually have one. But I want to make sure that we're talking about the right thing. We're talking about any brand, or we're talking about video game brand.
I don't know. He didn't say in the question. I'm assuming he's talking about gaming. It's a gaming podcast, but Krebsy.
Right, so gaming brand or any brand?
You gotta answer, Krebsy. Is it any brand or game brand? Star Wars versus Transform. Anything.
Oh, so any brand.
Any brand.
All right, so they have to fight to the death.
Yeah. Well, first they have to work together.
All right, first they have to work together,
yeah, and then
yeah. I would say the ghost of Gene Roddenberry.
Okay.
And George Lucas.
Okay.
So Gene Roddenberry's ghost comes to George Lucas in a dream, and they make a Star Trek Star Wars collaboration. And then the ghost of Gene Roddenberry possesses Lucas, and then Lucas accidentally kills Kennedy.
Okay.
So then it's not his fault. So basically, he's possessed by Gene Roddenberry, who then kills Kennedy, and then Star Wars comes back. Star Trek dies, and Star Wars comes back.
Well, it's funny you brought up Star Wars and Star Trek. Yeah.
Yep.
I was also going around that same path of Star Wars.
Yeah, that's how that works.
I'll try to come up with a different one, because I was two brands that could work together. I would like to see. I'll do this. Transformers and Star Wars together, where like Cybertron happens to be in the same far galaxy out in the universe, and they're actually in the same universe as Star Wars. Okay, so like there's Jedi on Cybertron. Like, we don't know it, but Optimus Prime is like a Jedi, and Megatron is a Sith Lord, basically, right? And then they have to fight to the death. Not Megatron, Optimus Prime, but like Transformers and like the human Jedi and stuff like that. That's and if someone had to win, I would like the Autobots and Decepticon warlords to take over, to wipe out the Disney Star Wars. That's mine. Next question. Kylo Green, do you think Xbox will ever resolve the current issue with their first-party game developing, or do you see it just staying the same or getting worse?
Say it one more time.
Do you think that Xbox will ever resolve the current issues with their first-party game developing, or do you see it just staying the same or getting worse?
Well, you're looking at it from the console game war perspective, and so if I look at it from the way you're looking at it, it'll just get worse. But in reality, it's them trying to sell a service.
Right.
So in the end, they will be leaders of the gaming service when it changes over. So I get what you're saying, but you have to stop looking at it in that way. They're not selling games anymore. They're selling a service. They're selling people on screens. Whoever's got the screen is signing up for the service. They don't care about first-party titles. First-party titles is a breadcrumb leading to the service. So the more of those they have, the more valuable their service looks. That's the game. Yeah. So even though the game might not be good initially, because once a game is released, they just fix it along the way. It's been proven now. Cyberpunk, what's the other one? Cyberpunk and Fallout 76. These are games that released broke or fixed along the way, and are still very popular games that make a shit ton of money. That's the model.
I could have pop a member for 3 months. 3 months. This channel plus whatever the main was. Woot! Thank you very much. Appreciate the membership. And if you guys are looking to get the gifted memberships, I don't know what's happening, Quintar, as far as the gifted memberships, because last week you would gift and then it just boom, 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 boom. So make sure that you guys are opted in. You have to opt in to get a membership if they're gifted. I'm the same way. Like, you're asking from a console, and I don't know if you're a PlayStation Kylo or if you're an Xbox fan or whatnot, but the question, it sounds like you're coming from a console war perspective, and you're looking for like the old school. Are there first party title game development? I think they're getting to their, like, we're looking for these games like 10 out of 10s, right? And I don't think Microsoft's ever trying to shoot. Now, I know it sounds weird. I don't think they're shooting for the 10 out of 10s because 10 out of 10s take too much development time, right? It takes too long to get those games out of the thing, where they're trying to make, 80s, maybe high 80s, maybe a low 90, right? It just all depends, subjective, the people that makes it popular or whatnot. And they're trying to get as many games out as possible. So if you're looking for quality like God of War or Horizon or Spider-Man or Zelda, right? I don't think you're going to get those first-party titles in Xbox. But you will get games that are good, not great. And I know Sony fans will be like, well, then why do you want to... Like, there's so much games that are on Game Pass, and that's the service they're trying to sell. And they're trying to make that as best as they can. And again, Netflix can't keep up with the streaming service to make great stories all the time because they just can't keep up with it, right? Same thing's going to happen with Game Pass. They're trying to get as many studios, at least this is the way I look at it. This is why they're buying up studios, right? They're trying to get as many studios as possible to make first-party titles so they can come out with a steady stream, as they say right now, per quarter. They want a major game per quarter. They want to get that down to games. You have 3 smaller games, 1 a month, and then a big game every quarter. Smaller game, big game coming out each month. If it comes out like Redfall, if it comes out like a Hi-Fi Rush, that's here or there. We don't know, but I do think it's going to work out for them in the long run, because right now we can't see the forest through the tree, right? Because we just don't understand the way the cloud gaming is going to work and all this other stuff is going to work. So I think it is going to get better for them. It can't. I don't think it can get worse, can it? I mean, they're pretty rock bottom right now. They're third place in the console wars. They're getting shit on left and right. They're waiting for these companies to like make the games that they've been waiting for. So I think it has to get better for them. And that's not speaking as like an Xbox fanboy or anything like that. That's just as a business sense. That's why Phil looks exhausted. He's just like, fuck, man. Like, when are we coming out with games? Are we going to get out with games anytime soon, guys?
Sure. He's beat up.
Yeah.
He's beat up.
Next question comes from Todd the Gator. With so many disappointing games released as of late, what game looks promising in the next 1 to 2 years, not including Starfield?
I'm sorry, say it one more time?
He says, with so many disappointing games released as of late, what games looks promising in the next 1 to 2 years, not including Starfield? I have a soft spot, and I don't know why. We were talking about it a little bit the other day when we were playing Division. Arc Raiders. I'm interested in Arc Raiders. I'm not hyped about it, but I'm interested in Arc Raiders. I want a game that's a co-op shooter type of game. It's kind of like fantasy. I kind of want to feel like I'm like I'm the red shirt in Star Trek. You know what I mean? Like going out there and exploring a planet that I don't know, and then shooting like aliens and having a big battle like Defiance did and stuff. That game looks interesting to me, and hopefully it comes out and it's good.
I don't see anything that's going to stand out. I see games that'll fill a void, but I don't see anything that's standing out. Like how many mediocre games can you have and just kind of say, yeah, it was decent while you're waiting for the good game?
Right.
Like maybe Fable.
Fable, I think I'll be really disappointed in, though. Like I loved the Fable series. Loved every single one of them, even the ones that weren't that good. Okay? I would be really pissed if Fable comes out and it's just not good. I'm worried about Fable because of Playground Games.
I mean, they don't respect older IP. Their marketing is for different people, and as I said last week, I really believe that if the current aging populace who's still looking at Xbox as a console selling game company, if those 25 million people would just go away, and Xbox would just build a new group of people after they leave, they would be fine with that. Right. If 25 million people just stopped playing Xbox and stopped asking them for games, actually good games, and they just went to the casual group of the other groups of people who play the game, they would be fine with it. They would suffer for the first couple years, and then they would grow their new audience, and that'd be fine, because their new audience knows it's all about Game Pass, not about games. They don't care anymore. Right. I said it last week. Right. They would be completely fine if those people just disappeared.
Yeah.
Like if 25, let's put it this way, if 20 million people just stopped playing Xbox and bought a PlayStation because that's what they care about, good games, and that's what they want, and they left Xbox alone, Xbox would suck it up, and in 3 years they'd be fine.
Yeah. The last question we got, and this will be the last question, submitted by B-Rex Media, says, do you think that Xbox doesn't feel the incentive to make 10 out of 10 games because of Game Pass? I think I already answered this. I answered this on the other question from I think it was Kylo. I think, yeah, I agree. They don't have the incentive to make 10 out of 10 games because you can't. Think about this, right? If I give you a perfect look at the gaming space right now, if I give you a perfect live service game on day one, there's nothing to come back to. Like, it's perfect, right? But if I give you a broken live service game, okay, and I fix it over 6, 8, 12, 18, 24 months, you constantly come back because it's improving over time, right? Look at Fallout 76, right? Look at Sea of Thieves. Look at a lot of these games that have come out that are on Game Pass, okay, that they've improved over time. So Game Pass, if they came out and said, or Xbox came out with games on Game Pass and they were 10 out of 10s, it doesn't fit the mold of Game Pass. Game Pass' whole mission is to have you come back every single month and pay that initial $10 fee, $15 fee. Doesn't matter what's on the platform. They have 400 games. They want to add 405, 410, 415, 420. They want you to come back every single month. If it's to play Fallout 76, if it's to go on Sea of Thieves, if it's to drive around a car game, if it's to get a single-player game, doesn't matter. They'll do third-party deals, first-party deals, but I think their first-party games don't have to be perfect when they come out because they want you to come back. They want you to experience the game over time, and it gets better over time. I don't like it, but that's what it is, and this is why I think Game Pass, in the long run, will ruin the gaming industry because no game will come out and be just finished. The first-party game won't be finished. They'll just push it along and go, oh, look, we're still working on it. We're making adjustments. We're doing all these things. And this is why I think Activision Blizzard, they looked at their portfolio and they're like, these are perfect games to put on Game Pass. Even though Activision Blizzard doesn't want to be on Game Pass, they don't have any say in it once they're purchased. Diablo is a perfect game to put on Game Pass. Overwatch is a perfect game to put on Game Pass. World of Warcraft is a perfect game to put on Game Pass. All of their games are perfect games. So yeah, I think it hurts because of Game Pass. This is why they won't have perfect games. What do you think, Sarge?
Give me the question one more time.
He says, do you think Xbox doesn't feel the incentive to make 10 out of 10 games because of Game Pass?
We've definitely talked about this.
Yeah,
if you don't need, if there's no pressure for your sales to be good, and you know you can release a product in any condition and you can fix it along the way, there's no pressure to make a game well initially. All you're doing is trying to fill the void of a piece of entertainment on a service system that allows people to step in and look at it while you fix it. There's no pressure.
Right.
In the old days, if your company did not make a good game, your company did not exist. You got maybe 2 tries. The first game you came out with, you didn't do well. You had to fire some people, start from scratch, work a little bit harder because now you have less people to work with, and then you had to make a better game. That's how most of the proper IPs that you guys have grown up with over time have all grown. They had to have a good team, and they had to have a good game in order to survive. Now you don't, because either you're owned by a publisher and you're told what to do, and then they have several studios under their hat, and just like a movie company, if 3 movie studios don't do well, but that one does, they fund the rest of it and they keep on going.
Right.
That's the issue.
Here,
you don't have it anymore.
Here, another example I could do is like the movie industry, right? Look at what Disney Plus is doing with their shows. They could go make a Mandalorian movie, right? They could have made a Boba Fett movie, but instead they made a new character and they draw it out over 3 seasons, right? What does that do? I could have, like, each one's a half hour. It's like a 3-hour movie, right? But they make 1 season out of it, or they make a 4-hour movie, but they make 1 season out of it. And when they do that, is they're getting your monthly fee every month because they make it 6 weeks. So you pay for January and you have to finish it in February, right? And then the next show comes out, and that goes from February to the next month. So they're getting that extra month out of you. With video games and the Game Pass model, if it's a single player game and you're done with it, and it's a short game, they need to have other games out there to fill the void. But if it's a live service game, right, and they're constantly updating it and they're constantly putting new stuff in it, then you're coming back every single month and you're paying it every single month. They're getting more money out of you. Instead of making a single player game, they make it a multiplayer game, and they get more time out of you. I'm telling you, Diablo's a perfect game on there.
It's going to be interesting to see what the number of the population base is going to be for Diablo and how long they play. I'm sure it's going to have its audience.
We didn't really talk about it this episode, but maybe we'll talk about it next week or when it gets closer. But we'll talk about it a little bit next week, because I'm going to play a little bit of the beta this weekend. Are you going to try it this weekend, Sarge?
This is Mother's Day weekend.
I know.
You're
busy for work.
This is the busiest weekend for work, and then Monday night I go drinking, and then Monday morning I leave for vacation.
Are you going to do a show next Thursday?
No.
All right, so we're off next Thursday.
I'm off next Thursday.
Okay, yeah. So there's no GXG next Thursday. Sarge is after the season, he goes off on a bender for a week.
I do not go on a bender. I disappear for a week.
Whatever you do, you're gone for a week. He goes off radar, off grid. All right, that'll do it for Generation X Gaming. Episode 351 is in the can. We do appreciate you coming out and hanging out with us. If you're here for 1 second, 1 minute, or 1 hour, we do appreciate you very much. Make sure you hit that like button. Helps us out. We're a smaller channel. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, you can hit the subscribe button. We do these shows most of the time on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. We do about 48 episodes. Well, actually, this year it's like 42 episodes this year, because we were off like 5 weeks because Sarge's computer blew up. And then you can watch us after the fact here on YouTube at 30NSG, or you can listen to us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor.fm. On Spotify, you can watch and listen to the video there as well. Again, we do appreciate you very much. There is no podcast tomorrow for Lono. He's playing Zelda. It's my birthday, so I'm relaxing and doing stuff with my family. So I do appreciate you guys very much. I might stream over the weekend something, but other than that, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Game on, guys.
They're two brothers and gamers that have been playing games since the early 1980s. Combined, they have over 65 years experience. Join them each week as they discuss and rant about gaming and entertainment news. This is Generation X Gaming.